Team Spirit also here for their second lower bracket round here on the main stage, the International 10. Team Spirit is a team of youngsters. We got ourselves 4 first-timers coming on the stage. But you know what? Normally you'd say, okay, you know what, that's gonna be pressure. Maybe there is pressure, but it propels Team Spirit to the next level. They have performed under pressure before. We saw them on the main stage of the Animajor as well, and they do good with this pressure. They know how to deal with it and how to make them even better. And of course, they have their coach Silent as well to help them out with if the pressure comes a little bit too much, as they do have a lot of experience in their coach for sure. Now, for Team Fanatic, this is a team that is fairly fresh as a 5 squad. They came together right before the qualifiers, or rather, they swapped some players in right before the qualifiers to create this specific 5-man. And we're going to get to know them a little bit better.
Welcome to another exciting round of rapid fire questions. I'm Dakota. I'm joined by Jabs of Team Fanatic. Hi, Jabs.
Hello.
Raven, are you ready for some fast trivia?
Let's do it. Never ready. But...
Well, you got to be ready, because here it comes. Who were the 2 teams that played in the grand final of the first TI?
It's Navi and... I can't remember.
What 2 teams?
IG and Navi.
Not IG.
Oh.
TI1 is eHome and Navi.
That's right. Nailed it.
eHome versus Navi.
Very good. What cities did TI take place in?
Canada is country, right?
Canada's country. Where in Canada, do you even remember?
California.
Began with a V. Vancouver. You got it. Who's the funniest player on your team? Who's
Raven.
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 You're the funniest.
Yeah, I make myself laugh.
What was the last movie you watched?
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Oh, how would you like it?
It's just okay for me right now because we watch it here on Romania. So they speaking Chinese and they have the subtitle on Romania. So I didn't understand.
You watched the movie, you didn't understand anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't understand the Chinese part.
You couldn't understand.
Our manager had to translate it to me.
Oh, okay. Who's the best player on your team?
Me.
Who's the best player on your team?
Me.
Who's the best player on your team?
Me.
Who's the best player on your team?
DJ?
DJ. You know everyone else said themselves, right?
I love that. It says so much about this squad. Who's the best player on your team? And see, most of them is like, me?
I mean, you kind of want your players to say that, right? Like,
True.
The support players might want to look towards their cause, right? But I think if you're trying to win TI, you want every single player to be confident in their own performance. So honestly, I don't mind that answer, especially at TI.
All right, well, let's break this matchup down. Purge, I want to know what if you're a new viewer and you might not be that familiar with Team Spirit or Team Fnatic, what's the main thing you want people to know about this matchup?
I personally think they're going to run at each other the entire game constantly.
Oh, nice.
They're both super aggressive teams. We saw it in the upper bracket for Team Spirit. I expect to see Fnatic do the same thing. Lots of confidence, lots of fighting. There's going to be a lot of people dying.
A lot of people die, and that's what we wake up for here this morning. That sounds real bad.
That sounds terrible.
You too?
In Dota 2, I mean, this lower bracket, it's brutal, Kyle. And these 2 teams are...
One of the more interesting matchups, I think, so far in the lower bracket, just because I think they're like very similar in style and also... like expectations coming in, they're both probably in your underdog category, right? And one of these squads gets top 8 right off this BO3. So it'll really come down, I think, who's going to play with more confidence. I'm looking specifically at the mid lane. I think Toronto Tokyo was a bit off what I expected and what I witnessed from him in the DPC. And Shuend has been performing very well in the games that I've witnessed.
I mean, but Toronto Tokyo, they're like, he is the story of what DPC was meant to be, right? Like, remember season 1, we're talking about him, like, this pub player, like he's just making all these weird plays, like he's trying to go for kills and his team's not ready. And then each kind of season he evolved, and now at TI, like maybe it's a little bit nerves, but I still feel like he has improved immensely just because of like the DPC alone.
Yeah, both of these 2 teams have had a very different road in terms of how they dealt with the DPC. You know, the DPC season is coming in to bring a little bit more stability, but in the case of Fnatic Purge, it didn't quite work out at the start. So they had to make changes.
Yeah, they had a promising road potentially because they did so good in the first season, but season 2 they dropped the ball in a big way. And there was lots of regional competition. Obviously, that's really important, but they not only didn't qualify to the major, I don't think they got many points at all. They got 5th or something like that. So it's like if you can't approach that, how are you supposed to do well?
I really wanted to key in on Jabs. We just saw him there, who asked to draft and retake a spot in the captain's chair before that critical qualifier to come to TI. He will be once again drafting and playing as the captain, but like a wild road, Their mid player was their off laner, then they pick up Death. Jabs asks, and I also think it's funny, he's the only guy who didn't say himself as the best player, and that I think is an ideal captain's mentality, right? You got to believe in your boys.
And I think the story of Jabs and DJ is a really interesting one because they did have a little bit of an icky start to I guess if you want to call the season, like in September 2020. This team, it looked like it was going to continue for a little while. It looked like it was going to continue on without Jabs.
Sure, but I think you have to attribute that to how competitive the region is, right?
For sure.
When you look at a roster and you see the player names, right, Jabs, DJ, and you're like, oh, cool, they've got to be, top 2, top 3, and then suddenly these other teams just come swinging out of nowhere, right? Like I feel that people just need to understand that SEA is a very deeply competitive region, and the reason why we didn't always see the same team go into the majors was because they had to fight up against 6, 7 other strong regions. I'd even compare it to like EU-esque in regards to kind of that depth of play.
Yeah, I think Team Spirit is, by the way, the poster boy of DPC. This is, I feel like, the way it's supposed to be. 4 of the members of Team Spirit were already together before the season. In December, they got signed by Team Spirit, formerly Yellow Submarine, by the way, for those familiar with the Eastern European Dota 2 scene. And the team at the start of the season, Purge, didn't look too hot, but we've seen steady growth as a 5 squad throughout the 6 months that we watched them.
Yeah, we really did. The first season, they had some wins, they had some losses. They went about equal wins as losses. And season 2, they were pretty consistently impressive. They still couldn't take it to VP. It still seemed like VP was absolutely untouchable in their region. But hey, with Team Spirit qualifying, I got really excited because I was like, they maybe aren't the best, but they have some great potential. So happy to see them on the international stage.
Yeah, very important for the region as a whole as well, right, Kyle?
Yeah, indeed. And it's going to be very draft focused, I think. We talked about Toronto Tokyo. This is a Spirit extraordinaire. I think he will most likely be playing that throughout the series. His Kunk also shined once in the groups, but I'm looking at Fnatic as well. The DJ Clockwork, I think, is a must ban, which is crazy because that hero just seems terrible on paper. But when he's playing it, suddenly the team just comes alive. It seems to activate their mentality.
Yeah, we have we saw there Silent, the coach of Team Spirit, and when you're talking about drafting, you have to talk about Silent. Every time there was a post-win interview with Team Spirit throughout the DPC season, and you asked him anything regarding the draft, and they were thankful to this guy right here because it is Silent, that is the veteran, is Silent. That this is his first coaching gig, by the way, but he's been crushing it. He's been working with the team a lot, and they all are very happy to have him on board. He's of course supporting Miposhka, who was this is his second TI. I mean, it's not, he's a veteran in the scene team, but it is only his second TI.
Yeah, again, it's crazy to think because I think you look at Eastern Europe, right? It's been kind of held down by certain orgs or players for so long, right? And that's why we mentioned Spirit being the surprise here, because Spirit being here, what team's not a TI? It's Na'Vi, right? Like they had to beat some of the kind of the bigger names to get here, and that's why I think it's so not surprising, but it's so impressive that they are, right?
Yeah, you want to talk about the orgs for a little bit because I find it, it's very exciting to see Fnatic, an organization that's been around for such a long time. This is their 8th international, as we already mentioned. Team Spirit have also been around for a long time, but this is their first international.
Yeah, well, I did a little bit of homework. I want to find out a bit more about Spirit. They formed in 2015 with Ramses. That was his, after he played with Scary Faces, right? And that team, they got to a major, but they actually came last, losing to OG back when they had Miracle and Fly and Notel. 2016 kept the same team, but they lost to Alliance at another major. And that was when Bulldog and Loader played on it. 2017, pushed in, tried getting FNG into the mix. These are big names they're picking up every time. Didn't do so well. 2018, Beaver came in as well. Oliver, 9, Tundra players, didn't work out. You then push over to 2019, RTW, Immersion, Misha. Misha's now the coach of OG, Immersion, Monaco Gambit, Nigma. RTW is on Nigma. Like every year, this team, Spirit, has tried to pick up like bigger names within the region. And it was only in 2020, after Yellow Submarine had started qualifying for the events that all their previous teams had failed to qualify with big names, they just swooped them up and went, no, please, become Spirit and we'll try and form you in what you want to become. And it has been an incredible year for these young guys who have gone from just winning qualifiers to now at TI.
Yeah, probably a success story from the current iteration of the DPC, right? There's a big issue in Eastern Europe is the roster volatility, right? I think Solo played for 3 different teams through 2 seasons, 4 if you count that he's now here as an analyst. And these guys would have been prime poaching material in earlier styles. But, you keep your points as a team. They were close. Had they, I think, been top 3 at the Any Major, they would have gone through directly on an invitation.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about Fnatic as well. We saw behind, standing in the booth, is Sunbi, also very experienced coach. I say also, but he is definitely one of the most experienced coaches, Purge.
Yeah, he was coach of Team Secret for a very long time there, for many, many years. So somewhere around there, it feels like forever, basically, but very experienced player. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Let's see what this series will bring us.
Versus Team Spirit. Game 1.
Welcome everybody to the draft between Fnatic and Team Spirit. Here with me today to talk about this draft are amazing people, AUI and Lizard. So gentlemen, there are 2 different kind of styles of
They're definitely more stable and they have cut out their own niche in this tournament. The Nature's Prophet on position 4, the Clockwork 5, not really having a single playmaker but an abundance of them. That's something that we can expect from them. First game.
Yeah, I think once you have a little bit of downtime from the group stage, it's when your team really solidifies what style you want to play over the main event. I think Fnatic, I was looking at their games, and usually what tells me a lot about how a team plays is their carry picks. If you look at Raven, he's playing hard carries, he's playing Weavers, he's playing Ursas, he's playing Razors, he's playing everything.
Whatever.
And while that flexibility can be really valuable as part of why Raven's such a good player, it also sort of tells me that they weren't able to really narrow down a style that they specifically wanted to play in the group stage.
One hero that they did play, but they didn't really do well with, 0% win rate actually, is Tiny. So Fnatic, they just ban it out instantly. Elder Titan, me and now, we were talking about the most valuable first pick. I really think ET in the current meta is most likely first phase material. As it opens up your draft, it can go in any direction. Meanwhile, there is still IO left in the pool, which isn't, well, they're taking their time. It isn't really Team Spirit's playstyle.
And it's sort of weird that you take your time when you've had so much time to prepare for a match. You've probably gone through a lot of scenarios. This means that Fnatic did something that they did not expect, or they want to someone thought of something a bit last minute. Okay, so it's IO. So as you were saying, I would say not the most comfortable support for them, but they can definitely play it, and they have played it.
Definitely.
I agree. I want to mention what you said about the ET. I think ET in this patch is sort of like a net worth deflator for the enemy carry, and the patch is very carry focused. So every time you have an ET in your draft early, it makes it so that it's harder for the enemy team to figure out which carry to pick for themselves.
You just take away all the armor, right? And Morphling suddenly becomes not a hero for your team.
Your carry will kill their carry in 2 seconds, no matter what the matchup
Meanwhile,
is.
Doom is still left in the pool, Luna is still left in the pool. I value these heroes quite highly against the Tidehunter. Maybe Luna a little bit more because you have an IO already on your team. Right?
Can you
I can see
explain that
working.
matchup? The matchup with Luna and IO?
So when it comes to the Luna, the lane is one of the best, I believe, for the carry to offlane matchup, depending obviously on position 4. But you have a Giga Chad collapse on your side. You're getting that Mars in the first phase. There's plenty of carries, but collapse on Mars looks like no one else.
He's played this hero forever, and he's always looked good on it. Even this tournament where I think Mars had a fairly weak win rate, Collapse and Team Spirit, they went 3-2 with it, which was respectable. And even in the games he lost, he was getting these crucial double spears, and it looked like he's carrying team fights. You look at the fight recap, he's done 4k damage on Mars. You're like, what?
When I look at Fnatic as well, collapse and praising him aside, as we're doing it, I feel every single panel. If I wanted to pick for them Nature's Prophet, Clockwork, and any sort of a spirit for your mid laner, and you're happy, you're satisfied, right? That's how I see Fnatic. Then off of that, you can build into whatever, because as I always stated, Raven plays anything. He even played that Ricky on that position of 1 role.
Yeah, merging with the crowd a bit.
Yeah.
I was actually a bit surprised that Spirit, they didn't go for the Storm Spirit. I feel like IO into Storm Spirit has been a fairly common opener, especially when you know that, I mean, Fnatic, they can play the Fury on other roles in 4, but most likely, it looks so good. Sort of like a Jab signature that it's going to be on him. I think Jabs in particular, I think he's ranked 4 on leaderboards right now. Like the guy who's called like IDC MMR, I play for fun, that's Jabs. He's playing support in pubs and he's ranked 4. He's higher than any carry player in the world in MMR.
And he was the only one at the interview that said that it wasn't him.
Yeah.
It was a team.
No, he's crazy. As far as like support's individual skill goes, I think Jabs is up there. On top of that, on the other side of Team Spirit, I think you have Yatoro, who is the highest rated carry player in terms of MMR. Like the top 3, Quinn, GPK, nothing to say, dirty mid players, you know, abusing a little MMR.
He's actually playing carry and still winning.
Yeah, no, he's still keeping carry. He's one of the players I love playing with the most, actually. He'll pick some Faithless Void. He'll like, hey, you think you're about to TV mid? And
he's nice, right?
He's very nice. He's so pleasant to play with.
It's unbelievable for a carry player in pubs. It's something different, definitely.
I can see Team Spirit, they're sort of vaunted as like big fan favorites in the Eastern European community because their team chemistry and even their personalities is just so pleasant.
They're just friendly.
Can I ask you a question? So there are some really standard bans here like Monkey King Weaver, even Bane, who had a very good showing in the last series, but why Winter Wyvern?
So Winter Wyvern right here, when I look at it, is kind of strong versus IO. It's one of those heroes that can deal with relocates. I don't value it as highly, so it is a question mark a little bit for me too. Specifically, I would question the Bane even higher because it's a hero that has been first banned at the Dota Pit tournament recently, in the first phase that is, but has fallen off for everyone else but Team Spirit. They value these heroes very highly, and I think perhaps their own biases came into this ban.
I guess perhaps we'll see. Honestly, I don't have a good read on what they're going to pick next.
Yeah.
Like Winter Wyvern Bane bans, I guess that's some like single target physical core. That's like easy to isolate grip or to counter with the Cold Embrace and the Curse. So
that's why the Sven and Yrsa bans, right, on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess Fnatic had a better read of that. They instantly saw like, oh, they're banning something. I think something that's interesting about the draft is oftentimes your bans are more dependent on the other team's bans than their picks. Especially when you pick sort of like an open lineup like a IO Mars.
Yeah, and with the Lion ban, Storm Spirit was 100% coming.
That was an instant pick.
Knowing
right
Fnatic, knowing how they want to be playing, if you see that Lion being banned out, you know Storm is coming. This is a hero that they are feeling very comfortable on. Pretty much any Spirit on that mid lane for them works, but Storm Spirit I think is slightly better than any other, and Chuan will have a lot of fun on.
I think in the last couple of matches we saw Storm go against his Spirit brother Ember, and Storm dominated the lane. I feel like getting that Storm is also sort of buffing up Jabs' Fury on position 4, because I feel like Fury on position 4 should be less comfortable playing against these Spirits that can kill him.
For sure. You don't want to be playing into any sort of hero that can jump you. We've seen Monkey King even struggle at the same way in the last series of VG versus VP. But there comes the Luna that we've talked about.
Yep.
Luna actually with the Disruptor. So it will be some IO. Do you think IO will lane with Luna? Do you think this will be Disruptor position 4?
I think IO Mars just giving him some sustain most likely, but I don't particularly have a good read on it. Like I think it'll depend a little bit on what carry they see. Like maybe it'll be what hero they can pressure, because Fnatic, they're not really showing their 5 or carry right now. They do have like basically 2 counter picks now as they are second pick. I want to mention that Fnatic, they banned the Sven and Ursa, as you're saying, because they banned Winter Wyvern and Bane. I always feel like, especially this tournament, when it comes down to it, in the lower bracket, a lot of carries are favoring Luna right now. She just, especially since the anime, yeah, it's so simple. Everything you do, you're lane strong, you farm fast, you team fight well, you have night vision, your timings are simple and easy. Everything is like in your control, so you can focus on dealing with the pressure and like making good calls.
I'm instantly reminded of the Naga versus the Luna matchup, that one game in which it's just so much harder to execute properly with the Naga. By the way, they banned out the TB on one side, And I'm wondering for Team Spirit, okay, you banned out the TB, but where is your reliable catch for the Storm Spirit? You have Mars, but he's not that reliable. The Glimpse as well, it works, but it's, what, are you going to be predicting every single time he zips in to
it's like
set up the
you
static
have
storm?
to. It's pretty hard because you can glimpse storm. He can't OT out of it, right? But you have to see him when he's 4 seconds from when he jumped, or he just jumped you on Disruptor. Like on paper, it often looks like Disruptor's really good against a lot of these Spirit heroes, but they actually just end up jumping and killing you. Yeah,
exactly.
it's not easy.
And the same thing can happen for this IO. So both of these supports kind of suffer from the same things, and that's heroes that can get on top of them easily, which is something that Fnatic has already got. They have the Storm and the Prophet to TP behind the enemy lines.
I like this Ogre Magi pick coming out, assumably for DJ on Fnatic. I think if you look at their heroes right now, Tidehunter, Storm, and Furion, they all take up a lot of farm. If you have heroes that soak up a lot of farm like that, I think the Ogre Magi is like his frontline tankiness and his Bloodlust are just good to enable those heroes. On top of that, I feel like Fnatic, they play like such a freestyle. Sometimes Jabs becomes an additional core, right? If you're Bloodlusting 4 heroes instead of 3 heroes, you know, it's just all the more effective.
And it's something very simple, right?
It is.
He's
It's
going
stable.
to come into that lane. He's stable. He will bully you out. And later on in the game, he doesn't require any farm at all because all of his teammates so far are looking fairly on the greedy side. Meanwhile, that Ricky gets out by Team Spirit. This is something that we mentioned earlier. They played it on position 1, and sometimes when there's one of these niche picks picked by a certain team, if you're playing at the lower bracket, you need to ban that out. You can't test your luck.
And I think they're also banning it because it is good versus those heroes. A classic counter to Mars, you know, backstab versus Bulwark. Also, you have double
Blink
range
out of the
support.
arena as well,
Yeah,
right?
it's a carry that you give vision and then the Storm jumps, both your supports die. Luna, she's a good hero, she's solid, she's easy to play with, but she's not really that. I mean, she sort of is a 1v5, but she's not. I don't know how to particularly word it. It's like you take all the farm on the map, but you can't fight the enemy alone. Like you're more of a frontline hero. We saw in the EG versus Elephant series.
You want to congregate around her, converge, and go take objectives.
Yeah, because
right?
she gets super tanky because she's built so many items. Like in the EG Elephant series, they were all landing Arteezy, and his team would win every fight because that's what they were using his net worth for. It's the same thing here. Like if Ricky was able to scout all his team and they killed them all, I don't think Luna can do it the other way where all her team's dead and she's left alive.
It's just the Queen of Pain. I perhaps expected Void Spirit to be banned out. They go with the Ember Spirit. So basically what they needed is a hero that can go in first that also brings a little bit of control. Ember Spirit is probably that one. We've seen this matchups throughout the day multiple times already, and Ember has done actually extremely well at the tournament. I think this might even be a hidden strongest Spirit out of the 3.
I think Ember's 4. Honestly, he's my favorite hero of the tournament. I do think that today specifically, Storm has had really good lanes versus Ember, but we saw in the LGD series, Ember's timings and like the pace of the game you can play, one mistake from the Storm team, and he can just completely take over the game. On the other hand, in the VP series, like GPK, that was a rough laning phase into some rough Ember gameplay, right?
I really don't know what happened in that
GPK's
matchup.
rank 1 for a reason, right?
Owned.
Yeah.
The time is going down, though. Who is their last pick?
It's Morphling.
Is that a good pick?
That.
Okay, so Morphling, at least straight off the bat versus Ember, always used to be good. You turn into the Ember, you bring a lot of control to... That was usually on the mid lane matchup, however, but still, it's all right.
They also don't have a natural Spirit Vessel carrier. Like, I don't think Io or Mars really want to buy it. I actually really like Luna in the Luna versus Morphling matchup just because you have that magical burst. But Luna's recently have gone for more of a farming build. Eventually, you do get up that magic damage. It's probably a fine pick. But I'm a bit afraid, like, if Storm doesn't have a good game, like, he has to do well in the lane in order to control tempo this game, because I don't think Tidehunter and Morphling are doing that.
It's a little bit more on the greedier side of Fnatic. If the lanes don't go too well, they'll have to resort on Jabs and his split-pushing capabilities to actually come back into the game.
It is greedy, but if I've seen anything from Jazz Fearon, I feel like they use his knowledge and prowess on the hero in order to enable the hero that they need to work. So maybe this game we'll see some Ogres walking to mid, some Fearon TPN, and a class on the Ember that's already losing his lane. I wouldn't say that IO Disruptor are the best supports to really help. You know, it's long gone the days of the support IO, he TPs in, bottle your carry once, they heal 600 HP. Yeah. It's not the same hero. You're rushing some mech, you're not really that strong. If they can manage to collapse on Ember, Fnatic's a team that opens up the map quickly and open up the map with the mid tower. I think their draft can work really well.
So Lizard, what draft do you think on paper, all things
I'll go
considered?
with the classic twist. Stories have been told about Raven's Morphling. In SCA, this is probably the best player on the hero. So player to hero matchup works really well for Fnatic. Storm Spirit on the mid lane as well. However, at the same time, I feel the complexity is on Team Spirit's side. It's much easier for them to execute this draft. I think it's very easy to get some farm on that Luna, converge together and start taking objectives.
But if you were to pick one team, which draft would you put above the other?
Oh, Team Spirit, yeah.
Okay. Well, we will see. But AUI, what do you think?
I really like Fnatic's chances in this game. For me, like, I don't know, just something about Jabs' fear on being able to snowball a storm sounds good.
It's hard to go against it.
Yeah.
All right, well, we will see how this game plays out. But first, an interview with Jake and Sunby.
Thank you very much. Hello, hello. I am here with Sunby, coach of Fnatic. How are you doing, sir?
Doing great, doing great.
Fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about that draft. People have been saying that this Tide Hunter is a bit of a trap, that teams are letting other teams pick it and then falling into their spider web of lies. How are you feeling about Tide? You feeling confident? No trap, right?
I mean, we like the hero. I think it's a good hero. If you don't win with it, is it the hero or the execution? I don't know. But we like it.
All right. Glad to know that. What do you think? Any surprises in that draft? Were you guys going to pick Ricky? I saw they banned that last.
Ricky is in our arsenal. Is there any surprises? No, not really. That guy does have a very good Mars, so we'll see how that goes.
All right, well, I wish you the best of luck. Thanks for giving us a little bit of insight, and have a fantastic time in your game. We will throw it back to you.
Thank you so much, Jake. And Sunby throwing it out there. He's got a pretty good Mars trap.
Wow.
We've seen it.
It's true. Not much of a compliment, is it?
No.
Yeah, he's really, really good. You know, they're just telling some lies to this guy.
But we'll see how it ends up going. As they already are into this game, we did have a short pause at the start, which means we get no...
Throughout the match, trying.
Stay together.
It's just what he does, man.
Oh, don't watch that. Only the one jury.
That's fine. Able to find the kill on the courier, and now gonna try and get a little bit fresh up top. Get some help onto this lane. If he's not careful though, Collapse could maybe just turn onto both of them. You can see.
I feel like they need this tri lane right now because Soul Ring IO with this Mars feels very frightening. There's just so much spam.
Yeah. In fact, just chasing Raven down, keeping that pressure on to the Morph lane. Only 14 CS so far, getting doubled up right now by the Mars. And, I mean, this is why people don't give it to him. He's deadly. DJ gonna get zoned out also. And yeah, this top lane is just a little bit of a bully session that we got coming here from Team Spirit. They were at least able up right to get this pull off. Which Collapse is now afterwards going to kill off these large camp as well. But it gives a little bit of free time to Raven.
Down bottom, jabs. Gets turned on by Miposhka, but they put it right back onto him with the gush and the anchor smash.
Able to get the kill onto jabs. Well played. So far, so good for Spirit. Doing very well out of the laning stage. And I mean, even Ember, who's, you know, the one that's sort of being bullied a little bit here, is not having a terrible time.
Yeah, the best part is I feel like they're just sort of holding the line and then punishing when there's actual aggression coming out, like getting that first spear back towards the tier 1 tower top, and then there, when they're trying to bully onto the Disruptor, you manage to turn that back around for the kill on the jabs.
Big move in now.
And they turn it once more.
Level 6 is off the mark. They don't have it for Toronto Tokyo, and so he's going to get chased down, but Mira comes in at the last second, able to save his life. And the healing salve going means Toronto Tokyo will live through all that.
It's very good to be proactive in Dota, but that's 3 times now where they're just not getting their mission completed, right?
Yeah.
You're not getting the kill onto the Ember. Sure, you're punishing and you force out rotation, but that was 3 heroes coming in from Fnatic, and Mira relatively simply able to just get there and make the save without really forcing his allies to miss out on very much.
It just looks so clean right now from Team Spirit. Like, every move that they're making is either finding what they want for the kill or salvaging something that Fnatic is trying to make into a little bit of a disaster for him. You can see that movement over from Disruptor, smoke up, and not able, or rather the Invis rune taken, and now is going to come and check out the Storm. Can they do anything there? Doesn't look like it. So back to the races. Juan's going to head back home, maybe look for that 8-minute rune to get a little bit active, but already done with the armlet on freaking Mars. Collapse is very large.
Okay, we got a trend going here, huh?
Right?
Lots of armlets popping off here lately in the off lane, and sort of treating it like a little mini Midas, perhaps, in a sense of just like, you know, I'm going to off to a really good start. Maybe I don't need my initiation item as early. I want to be a little bit greedier.
Right.
But there is a ton of synergy, of course, when you have an IO, right? It's just going to be better than normal, just because you're like focusing more on sustain and living longer in the engagements. You know, one good toggle could be that extra save that comes off in the team fight too, or just that little bit of HP that you can help for the IO to like push you over into future survivability.
It's definitely a little bit of a different look. It's something that's, like you said, been gaining popularity as Juan back behind the tier 1 tower. They're going to try and cut this wave and get some pressure onto mid, as Ember is nowhere to be found for the moment. He's off on the bottom side.
Maybe this is what those offlane IOs needed. Maybe this is what they were missing, you know?
A real offlaner with them? Like, what are you talking about there?
Well, I meant an armlet, but that would also go pretty well too, I suppose.
That's fair. Well, Toronto Tokyo has completely abandoned mid, as that is definitely necessary. And in the meantime, Miposhka is soaking up a lot of experience on this Disruptor, almost level 6 now, as they're going to do another pull through. Looks like they're going to catch onto that range creep, but this is going to be some pretty solid pressure onto this tower if they want to keep it up.
Disruptor, not the hero you think of for trying to like hold back these towers, right? Especially with a 1-3-1 build, you're thinking of like Winter Wyverns and everything, but the fact that they're not jumping, Fnatic just maybe a bit hesitant with some of the earlier plays not working out. I prefer this instead, just moving to the camp and sort of messing around with Toronto Tokyo.
Careful.
He's got a haste rune, right? It's the rune of invincibility.
True enough.
No one's ever been punished by getting a little bit too ahead of themselves with a haste rune.
Not even one time. But yeah, 8 minutes, so only 2 kills, but a 2,000 gold lead as Team Spirit have just been a little bit more efficient around the map. But Fnatic, wanting to get a little bit of something going for themselves, are going to pressure and take that bottom tier 1 tower.
Great play, right? Luna's hitting Ancients, you take a tower. That's essentially the trade here. Now they want to get their own pressure into the top lane, but you gotta imagine Raven's got help coming, right?
I mean,
right?
I think so.
Does he need help? You know, maybe he's got this by himself.
Waveform, TP out. Oh, but nothing to break the TP. So that is Arena used. Spear still on cooldown. Team Spirit.
I love the confidence from his supports. I mean, DJ just sitting down there. TP's probably, you need help him there? No, I'm okay.
And instead, it's Death that comes in. So the Tidehunter is going to be a big old watermelon right in front of him and say, come and deal with me. You can.
Yeah, perfect swap up here of the lanes for Fnatic. Things looking better. You know, still though, Team Spirit holding the lead despite being down a tower. They don't look too shook quite yet. You got to imagine that Collapse would love to get himself a kill here on this Mars once that arena's back up.
And it's going to be a DD. Toronto Tokyo able to get that one a little bit quicker on the fingers. That is a kill rune if things break right for Team Spirit.
Well, you gotta imagine Death would love to try and go for a play. Like, he's a Storm Spirit and a Nature's Prophet. You would think that you could try and go for a kill onto Mira, right? They have this Ob sitting on top of them. They spot the fact they're just sort of lurking nearby. Feels like a prime opportunity, but at the same time, you know, Jabs is hitting Wave's bottom. We've got Raven hitting Ancients, and Jurin's going back to the base grab some mana, so we'll see if that's the play. Looks like he actually wants to go outpost and then come mid, perhaps.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it still feels like the lead is growing
DJ.
in spite of that, but yeah, they're going to get
a little deep.
back, and that's going to be a quick and easy punish there for Team Spirit as they run down the Ogre, find themselves another kill.
Hey, he's taunting away, you know?
Yeah, he's happy about it.
He saw what was coming, gives a little laugh, like, yeah, all right, space for my team. I like this play from Collapse, though. Can't go for kills, goes for your stacks. Heads in to farm up some of these neutrals that Chuan was looking for.
A little bit of a battle going on for these ones here, and he's thinking about it, wants to jump.
They're smoking
now
towards
Mira with Death coming in also. Jabs there, the jump away, tries to live, and Collapse will get out, but they lose the IO.
Oh, so I think Team Spirit were thinking about contesting that. They'd actually smoked up Yadoro as well as Maposhka, and we're sort of moving that way, but it looks like Collapse just made the call, like, no, not worth. Like, don't bother coming.
Yeah.
Now Mira makes some space, he TP's out. Much like DJ being sacrificed, they'll allow Mira to fall for the benefit of the squad.
Still standing tall, feeling comfy with where things are at, it looks like, on Team Spirit. As it's just that slight lead that has not ballooned out yet. The glimpse back in the Static Storm, able to pull and kill potentially this Storm Spirit. A nice jump, but no! He gets the zip away and able to dodge that last hit. The Thunderstrike, but there's the relocate coming in, trying to find Chuan. Can they get him though? Collapse the spear, not quite gonna be on the mark. Mira, they walk in. The Ravage to save. Surely no! He gets away! Are you kidding me? Unreal. Toronto Tokyo even lurking in the area, wants to find something in exchange for all this with the invis, but
he can have a courier. It turns out that's what he wants.
Wow.
It's a very small prize after what looked like a mid kill. Yeah, unbelievable stuff. Great saves coming in there from the team. And it just feels like Fnatic finally getting themselves their own stifling of some moves there as Team Spirit trying to go for the plays. Still a healthy lead here, 3 to 4K-ish net worth for Team Spirit. And Yadoro just making his way through the jungle here on this Luna. Top of the last hits, top of the net worth, and you know, to see Collapse so close behind as well. Having an absolutely fantastic game for 2 of the cores here on Team Spirit.
He really does feel like he's been the one that's been able to set that tempo pretty consistently as the Spear's going to come out now onto Death.
Stand back. I'm hitting the tower.
I got
Move out of the way.
And Death is slowly but steadily getting whittled down. Still 80 seconds before Ravage is up, and he has to actually back out of there. They can't fully commit for the kill, but if he sticks around, he will die. So waddling is a little bit OP for the Tidehunter, as he will walk away from them all.
Well, they're going to clear up the vision around here first. Again, just sort of playing the front line here for Yadoro. Like the way that they're moving across the map, sort of having to balance out any potential smoke ganks that could come towards their precious Luna. Just continues to rise there. I imagine Fnatic just looking for that first big item. Particularly the Orchid for Chuan was being looked at here, and has one of the Oblivion staffs done, and then of course have an opportunity to perhaps kill Toronto Tokyo. Toronto Tokyo, though, is going straight for the BKB this game after the Falcon Blade.
And we saw something also as that was going on mid. Jabs was able to sneak in one little treant that Yatoro killed, but it blocked the Ancients before that ended up happening. So
classic Jabs.
I mean, he keeps on putting in, just like they ran one treant in there, and now Yatoro's farming in a little bit of a more dangerous position. But a nice play to do that economic damage where you can on Jabs.
That's right. I mean, that was the main punish that we saw in the best game that Jabs had on the Nature's Prophet when he was blocking out the Ancients constantly. I believe it was a Sven, but just kept being forced into the top lane and having to farm up there. And, how about farming down here?
He just gets out.
See ya.
Wow, no pull or no nothing. I'm not sure what it was, but they were able to get away on Toronto Tokyo. Now, looking for some counterplay. Jabs been very annoying to play against.
Has no TP scroll, also just TP'd up here, so.
And again, sending in those treants to block out the Ancients. He's going to do it again to him. So the economic damage that this does and denying the bounty rune.
I love it.
I mean, this is just what's
Meanwhile,
so annoying
they're
about
under vision
Zero.
as well in their jungle.
Looking for the jump right away onto Collapse. Death afterwards with the Ravage. Going to catch him. Killa, maybe? Possibly?
Mira?
Yeah, they got him. And Mira falls to boot. Fanatic making the moves.
Yeah, couldn't find the relocate there. Too many heroes around. I wasn't confident they'd be able to succeed in it. Excellent punish there. Staying onto the tower from Jabs and then having that very defensive vision. Sort of knowing, I think, that Team Spirit want to play in this area, right? Because you're forcing them out of their triangle. You're not allowing Yadoro to be in there, so he's going to have to play further up on the map on the Luna, which means you have to play further up as his allies to help protect that Luna. And you know that this Mars wants kills. You know he's bloodthirsty.
And look again who it is.
I'm so glad this is happening on the main stage, because in group stage, I felt like I was going insane watching this.
Look
It's
at
just,
this.
It's unbelievably annoying.
And nobody, I mean, this is the thing, right? You try and play Dota to be so efficient, which means that nobody's supposed to be there as the camps are spawning because they're supposed to be farming somewhere else. And then you show up and it's like, oh no, the gold's gone. The hell else are we supposed to do?
This must just break a carry player's heart. You know, they got all their little spreadsheets. Yeah, I love how he pings it too. And then look,
they're checking for wards.
Right, so there's a ward spot back there where you can break a tree and plant a sentry, and the only way to see it is those vision type spells.
Oh man.
My poster's gotta be like, dude, I promise you, there is no sentry in there.
So frustrating for Team Spirit, and this is the punish. The Nature's Prophet getting picked.
I swear, even if they
Luna.
lose this game on Fnatic, like I feel like this has got to be so taxing to play against.
Hello again.
They need a theme
We're
song
back.
or something at this point.
They're just there. And like, you know, Team Spirit, they're up on the other side of the map trying to make things happen, and in the meantime, they're just passively
Oh, here we go,
losing
though. That's an
gold.
Orchid reveal.
This would be a good kill if they can get it. It looks like they will. Toronto Tokyo goes down. Fnatic making these plays.
We got a very dangerous 1,000 gold to farm here for an Ember Spirit. When a Storm is going to be roaming the map looking for your head. That Orchid always going to be prepared and searching for you, I am quite sure.
Close to the BKB.
Oh,
but look at this. Right away. Getting a little bit of retribution.
That ward, ladies and gentlemen, making it easy. Even having the sentry just so close by to catch that Obs ward, but you know, the vision there from Chun obviously not enough to save him.
And Jabs just going to TP out of that one. The Collapse relocate back with Mira to the bottom side of the map. And again, Toro not to be dissuaded from keeping the pressure on and now farming into their jungle potentially. Has the BKB. Where do we go from here?
Well, I imagine Team Spirit are going to try and bait out Toronto Tokyo. Might see a play like that where you can see them now, like Collapse and Mira, kind of like shadowing Toronto Tokyo on the map because they have the BKB on Collapse. So perhaps hoping that a similar jump play will be attempted there from Fnatic, and they'll look for the punish once the Storm's back up. But very deep vision here from Fnatic, spotting out actually all the movements lately from Mira and Collapse. Over on the right-hand side of the mid lane, they had wards there. Now they just moved through the triangle. That was also just spotted again. So they should have a very good idea of the current game plan here from Team Spirit, and it involves the death of that top tier 2 tower and taking over your jungle.
You can see that these treants also in on that vision game. They're going to pull him back in now. Catch on the Jabs, caught onto a tree, and killed off. So Team Spirit tired of the shenanigans and wanting to keep the pressure on, take down this tier 2 tower, turn to the outpost.
Yeah, I doubt this glyph will end up stopping their assault here. So as you said, right on through. And big goals attained here for Team Spirit. Now instantly TPing down to that bottom lane as well. Collapse coming down here. Relocate as well with the glimpse.
Pulls him in right in to bring him down as they turn onto Death. Gonna find that kill. There's a lot of fancy stuff going on by Fnatic, but Team Spirit just easy peasy take it down with the Luna IO.
Well, we got a lot of BKBs being worked on this game. We're trying to get as many kills in as we can before they're out here. About 400 gold away there for the Tidehunter as well. So some early BKBs pretty much for everybody in this game, and that means that if we head into that mid and late game, we're going to be having to keep a careful eye on a lot of these timings.
Something to watch for sure. Team Spirit, they don't want to get to that late game necessarily. If they can keep this going, go right into Roche. It is going to be scouted. And obviously with the Storm Spirit, with the Tidehunter coming back up soon, can Team Spirit do this in time? I mean, they know it's happening.
Fine.
Yeah, okay.
No, thank you, says Fnatic. It's Death. Don't bring him over.
They're thinking about going.
Tempted.
They're thinking about going. They're going to be a little bit too late though, and now they walk right into this one. If he's not careful, might end up getting chased down and killed. Does have Ravage still. The glimpse back in, immediately caught the Ravage used by BKB in response. Team Spirit, they're too strong. Mira, silence, chased down, but they can't find that finish. So the trade ends up being a 1-for-1, but Ravage used.
Yeah, Ravage.
And another one afterwards. DJ pulled back in by the glimpse, and Jabs also. Jabs.
Oh, he's so slow.
Throws out the Sprout, doesn't have anywhere left to go, and he too will fall. Team Spirit having none of the shenanigans.
All that from a Roche Fnatic even knew was going on, but that temptation to contest. You have the Storm, you have the Ravage, you think, oh, but what if we could just get in there and grab the Aegis? You know, Chuan's like, I've done this. We did a group stage. It was awesome. I zipped right through. I killed Roche. I took an Aegis. Not so much this time.
Unfortunately, wasn't there in time to be able to go for that steal. And now Team Spirit, again, coming down from that upper bracket, looking to try and go up game number 1 in this best of 3 elimination match. A 6,000 gold lead. And time and again, we're seeing this Luna pay dividends.
Well, they want to keep the pressure up here with the Aegis smoking up. That's a Daedalus.
That's a big item.
That's a lot of damage.
Radiant are scanning.
15,000 net worth right now on this Luna.
And that arena and the Ember, like the chase down potential as well as the setup for the relocate, there's just so much time, you know? It's going to be very hard to get away. The BKB's here for Tide, though.
Oh, they're coming down bottom.
They had a good idea of this, too. Now, he does have TP. He has the Essence Ring as well. This is one tough Storm to get. Jabs also using his ward to TP in here.
And instead trying to get aggro. Able to find a kill, but does it come at a cost? The relocate in. Chuan going to fall. Jabs afterwards also in the dirt.
I feel like Chuan's just like, oh, there was a tree there, you know, right by that little signpost. Very unfortunate.
Thinking about chasing this now with the relocate. They couldn't take the outpost in time. Has to turn into the IO to tether away. Oh, man. That was the skin of his teeth there.
That's a pretty quick move.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, to be fair, he knew the IO was coming for a while.
True,
yeah.
true.
Nonetheless, impressive stuff.
Well, Fnatic this time trying to find little pickoffs during an Aegis timing, hoping that you can utilize that time to, sort of delay your opponent from pushing as a single, like, 5-man blob. They get punished, going for it, using their own wards. And now, of course, with the Storm being dead, and now this Aegis having been there for a while, your vision starts to decay in these situations. Like for Team Fnatic, because they just haven't been across the river in a while. They got 1 ward left. It's going to expire soon. So now the ward's going to get very defensive here. And with the range of initiation that you have on the side of Team Spirit, sometimes these defensive wards, they're not very helpful if there's any vision ahead of the path here for Team Spirit. I imagine they're going to look for some really nice deep wards. Poshka's got 3 sentries and 2 obs, so goes for one pretty deep in the triangle on a pillar, though, so may get dewarded. Would love to get one on the other side of the map, too.
Yeah, this is the position where they're going to try and keep that pressure on, like you're talking about, and you can see at the same time, Jabs getting going on. Hello. It was nice of you to give that one away, but the ward drop down won't be enough to keep him alive.
And even on a defensive ward on the high ground there from Fnatic to try and help against these situations. Just so quick from Spirit, just not worried about a turnaround play. Really, of course, you have the Aegis and everything. Not worried that he's going to TP out before you get there. They just want to grab that free pick and try and get some revenge on everything he was up to with their Ancients.
Too true. 8,000 gold lead now. Fnatic have done a good job of being able to dodge some of these fights, but again, Toronto Tokyo just recognizing danger, zips out of there the last second. So Fnatic still dropping down bit by bit in net worth, but it is not necessarily the end of the world for them.
They're finding very small trades across the map, and they are moving into these BKBs. And we've had several games now at TI where the BKBs really turn things around, but this one's not free.
Looking for it, jump, but saved immediately. Collapse, now turns onto the Storm, takes him down, no buyback, 50 seconds, and just like this, the game is blown completely open. Fnatic, they've got to defend without their Storm. Another 40 seconds, Ithoro keeping himself alive as they take down another DJ to fall. Has to buy back on the Ogre, and as you look, just hero after hero keeps on dying from Fnatic. Jabs is going to drop, they keep on turning on to more. Toronto Tokyo, this is an absolute slaughter as they find a boat. Triple kill for Collapse. Somebody make it stop. GG, they're done.
They just let it go. 25 minutes, Team Spirit. Right through this game, right through those BKBs. They spent the whole game building BKBs. They didn't even get to use them.
Unbelievable. That was one of the most dominant handlings that we've seen so far. And in the lower bracket, Team Spirit looking like a team to watch out for. And Fnatic, on the other hand, I feel like you're just going to need to go back to the drawing board a little bit here and see where they go from this point forward. But first game going to Team Spirit.
Well, that's a pretty tough loss here for Fnatic. I feel like there are a lot of good signs, right? We talk about like the nuisance of Jabs and the ways he's able to just like move these trains around and everything. But at a certain point, you obviously need to succeed on some of your plays, and that was a pretty common theme where Team Spirit were like sort of turning around a lot of the earlier attempts there from Fnatic, and then into the mid game, very aggressive map movements there from Team Spirit as they just sort of swept on in there and captured all your resources.
Yeah, and it felt like there was, these couple of moments where things were starting to go good, and then eventually the BKBs came online for the Luna. Toro was basically never touched throughout that game. 8-0 and 8 on a Luna is a really impressive feat. And I guess that, maybe thinking about trying to take Team Spirit out of their comfort zone might be what they need to go for here, and possibly think about removing that Collapse Mars.
I think he's a very easy one to look at, too, with Collapse on the Mars, but I think Maposhka as well played fantastic on the Disruptor. Like, going for all that vision, how many pickoffs on the Tide early before the BKBs. He's one of the reasons why they're forcing that item build to be rushed out so quickly. So it's not a single hero answer here, I don't think.
We'll see if anybody else has some answers. We'll head on back to the panel, let them break that one down.
Thank you very much, Lyrical and Trenta. Lots of breakdown in that first game of the best of 3 elimination series between Team Spirit and Fnatic. Team Spirit taking Game 1. I'm here with Kyle, Purge, and T-Gov, and we are going to try to break this game down. And I like what Trent says about Miposhka being one of the MVPs on this Disruptor, but I do want to start by talking about the Mars, because frankly, Kyle, that is the Collapse hero, his star hero, and we heard Sunby say it in the interview too.
Yeah, it's not just the hero even, it's this armlet build. It is 75 damage when activated on strength heroes. 15 base, 25 strength, 35 damage for 2,500 gold. Like, it's so value. You have to sustain from your Wisp, and you compare that to the enemy Tide, who's got a hood. The offensive damage impact, it's just
It's a big difference, yeah. Like, and it's not just that Collapse is playing; it's that he also has an IO. So, like, if it was a normal laning stage against a Morphling, he'd do fine, but maybe not crush as hard. But you could really tell that he's experienced playing the combo. Miro plays IO and pubs very often, so his comfortableness, just like going through clearing triple stack, like going from camp to camp, like he was ready for that.
Yeah, and for me, it's the fact that Spirit, this is something that IG actually run at the tail end of the group stage. They beat OG with JT on the Mars, with the IO, exact same build with the Armlet, and Collapse 6 days ago, he also played IO Mars, but did not do the Armlet build. So this is one of those things where a team at TI is still looking at everyone else, still understanding and kind of crunching the numbers, because 6 days ago, Collapse would have not done this build. But today, because JT done it, and he's seen, wow, that's really good. Yeah. They improved it, they optimized it. Like you mentioned, farming the jungle, going in front. Like, he had, I think it was 514 GPM at 18 minutes.
Yeah.
compared to Luna, who had 542. Like, they were top 2 the entire way. Like, you do not see a Mars have this much farm in the game, and it is just a fact that Spirit, of course, Collapse is an incredible player, but they are still appreciating and observing all other teams in the competition so that they can make sure that they can do the best when they play.
Yeah, I also want to talk about this mid lane because we mentioned it earlier. Toronto, Tokyo, and Chuen, they have had their ups and downs during the group stages, and both of these, of course, first timers here on the main stage. Purge, how did you feel like that matchup played out the way you were expecting it to?
I mean, there was a lot of pressure. Naturally, Jeb sent trees over to contest runes, contest bounty runes. They did try to do some ganks on Toronto, Tokyo, but almost always he got out of them. And while his net worth wasn't as high as either Luna's or Collapse's on the Mars, it didn't matter because he basically aggroed space and eventually did set up some initiations.
Yeah, because that Storm was supposed to be, like, they picked it third on Fnatic. That was supposed to be their key part of this draft.
Yep. Trouble is you're playing against this Luna like death ball concept that buys BKBs and runs at you. You have no real play for that. But I think I look at the draft. I just think to myself, because I made this mistake as well when I would draft for my brother. You'd think to yourself, wait, he's playing Ogre. It's my best player. Why did I give him Ogre? You know, that's a hero for like the 30-plus Dota players. That's a puppy hero, you know? Just captain and vibe. This is not what I want to see DJ on in an elimination game, even if they've had success with it so far.
Yeah, but that's the main thing, right? Like, the way that they've been winning games right now, it's that like 6-7 minute collapse on mid lane, getting that kill on the mid lane, allowing Chuen to have that instant impact into the game, and then they're snowballing themselves. Like, I'm yet to see a Fnatic game where they have been convincingly winning, where it's like even back and forth. It's like they will break down the map quickly and like be in your face, or it's like not at all, right? So I feel like Spirit, they've just done their homework, done their research, and they allowed Fnatic to have this game plan. And they're ready. Like Miro on mid lane, on the IO, he was just ready. He was like, okay, let's just save my Ember. Let's turn it around 2 minutes later and we'll win the fight. So right now, Fnatic, they came with their S tier strat, like the strat that got them to this position. 10, the low bracket. Doesn't sound too good, actually. But anyway, like, I'm looking...
But they're still in the tournament because of that.
Exactly. And I think it's incredible they got here. But when they're doing the exact same kind of mannerisms in a game, which is, you know, play your side lane, pick strong laning heroes, run at mid tower. Like, this is very kind of like textbook Dota. And I'm hoping that game 2, they can go, wait a second, we're incredible players. How about we like change it up? Because it's the same strat every time.
Yeah, we talk a lot about timings over the last couple of days. It seems like that's the key word at this international. And it kind of felt, Purge, that the timings of Fnatic, they were there, but they were just a lot slower than on the side of Team Spirit, meaning they had a game plan, but in terms of execution, they just couldn't get enough. They couldn't get it.
I think they just start off on too much of a network deficit, honestly. Morphling is a hero that traditionally can do a little bit bad in lane, but usually catches up with a couple crucial kills here and there, and he did participate in some of those, but like if he was like 15 CS behind Collapse at a very early point in the laning stage, and that can't be where you start your Morphling off. And so I think that one is just like, I agree with a lot of stuff Tigov said, but you can't lose your lane that bad. And basically, they took away Raven's best hero, gave him a bad matchup. That's not a recipe for success.
It is not, especially because Raven, his Morphling was mentioned as the one to be taking it all on his shoulders and to move on from that. We also thought before the game started, and Purge Wizard had said that, these two teams are going to run at each other. And I think Spirit heard that, and they're like, yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. Fnatic, a little uncharacteristic there, T.
Again, it does kind of boil down to the fact that, you know, Jab's normally, like, okay, when you have heroes like Morphling, right, and they have a bad lane, the way to get back into the game is early towers and to make people react to your plays so that Morphling can kind of sweep behind and get that farm, right? But it does kind of lean into Spirit always being ready in the right place, because whenever, you know, Fearing comes to mid, they're not giving away these cheap towers, not giving away this cheap map control, and it does help that the Mars is just owning the enemy jungle, which is kind of like a rare occurrence. We've seen it twice, I think, at TI, maybe, like this style of Mars, right? Most Mars players, they AFK in their lane, they kind of bonk, they spear, they chill, like they're giving away the farm. They're not like taking that and more. So I think Fnatic, honestly, just are kind of caught off guard. Like when you play a snowballing S lineup, you want to win lanes like Purge said, but I just don't think they were prepared to lose lanes in this way. Like this is kind of not a new way of losing, but like it's 1 or 2 times it's truly been shown.
Well, that's what you pick Profit for this reason, right? The NP theoretically is going to give you an advantage, and then early towers, easy towers. Then you have a Tide Hunter who goes this hood first, and then you can just kind of relax, defend your own objectives. But when you're getting outpaced on like all lanes, and you don't really have a good place to play into, teleporting onto an armlet Mars, that's just not going to work. Ember Spirit mid is always going to have a free escape, and Luna is just farming whatever he wishes. So it's really just, I think, a lower bracket thing where the easier draft often wins. You even heard them say it on the draft panel. The complexity was much easier in the case of Spirit's game plan because you just kind of chill. Like, you farm. You saw them die in enemy jungle to that Ravage, like all the ultimates, and the Iomars die, but it's like, okay, cool. Like,
that feels
2 minutes
good,
no Ravage, yeah, like that's fine. You're wearing your jungle.
With that said, though, Spirit still got some really crucial pickoffs. They got that Storm kill on the top lane with that ward vision. They had better night vision as well with Luna. There was the Tide relocate that they did near the large camp on their side of the map. Like, it just felt like they were pressuring everywhere. They even took the tier 2 tower before they even attempted Roshan, and they got it fast. It was just like they were clearly ahead of Fnatic in this game at all stages.
Well, that's like a textbook type of way of playing the game out from once you've won the laning stage, right? Then it comes to high ground defense, and I always thought high ground defense is where the comebacks happen. That's where we see, in this case, the Tidehunter getting the big Ravage, the Storm getting the big jump. Why couldn't they set up this big high ground defense team? Why wasn't that a possibility for them?
Because Fnatic's heroes are all about kind of pushing forward and poking, like they can only defend the high ground if Morphling has maybe Manta, BKB, Skadi +1. His damage output won't really be there. They've got a lot of like annoyance and kind of control to some degree, but they're not killing things. And it also does help that Luna, Ember, and Mars are like 24 minutes, have BKB. So if they want to occupy, the dire high ground, they just have to go up there, go all golden, and they're going to pretty much win any fight. And that's the big spear.
Fnatic's timing is just like too many items deep.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just so greedy, and Spirit are recognizing this. Like, they also got way more value out of their first item. Armlet is just, I think, the most busted item right now because it also has the build-up component of Helm of Iron Will. So for like an extra 100 gold, you get free armor and slightly less regen. So your lane is really strong. Armlet makes you just, it's more than a relic worth of damage. You're an Ember Spirit, like early BKB. What did the initial round of items for Fnatic really help them with?
And it was like a really rare case where Armlet actually allows your offlaner to out-damage a Morphling carry.
Yeah.
Normally it's like he has this 20-30 damage advantage, but then they're just running at him. They're sitting there attacking a Morphling, drop the ulti when he waveform out and TP'd out. Like, the pressure was insane that they got from the extra damage.
Well, it is time to shift our focus a little bit. Of course, that was just game one. This is a best of 3, and we're going to see if Fnatic can bounce back and force out that third game in the best of 3 series. Both teams are ready to take their seats again in the pods on the main stage. And for Team Spirit, we are going to hear more from them right now because earlier, Casey was able to sit down with the captain.
Team Spirit had a season of mixed results, missing out on the Singapore Major in March, but snagging 7th, 8th place in June's Ana Major. Lacking the points needed to secure a spot in the biggest Dota tournament of the year, they dominated in the Eastern European qualifiers to punch their ticket to TI10. All-CR got together with Miposhka right after the team qualified and started by getting his take on the season as a whole.
Как вы перед собой, как перед составом, какие ставили цели, чего хотели добиться и насколько успешно все получилось?
Короче, когда мы еще узнали про формат, какой вообще он будет, как проходить этот сезон, мы поняли почти сразу, что каждый матч очень важен, потому что очков довольно много и на лиге, и, соответственно, лучше нужно цепляться за каждый матч, чтобы выиграть, и, соответственно, больше шансов иметь на то, чтобы там вообще получить прямой инвайт.
But receiving that direct invite to TI proved out of reach over the course of an inconsistent season. They managed to qualify for the Ana Major in June, but as it approached, Miposhka says they struggled in their scrims.
Вообще, там нас сразу не задалось все. Мы-то начали тоже КВшки играть, начали все вообще проигрывать без шансов. Ничего толком не получалось. Там какие-то игры вообще в сухую, какие-то пытались бороться, но все равно проигрывали. И чувствовалось, что, что-то немного идет не так. Короче, уже за день перед игрой с ЕГЭ мы тоже сыграли КВшки, и было все более-менее. И когда мы выиграли у ЕГЭ первую, я думаю, это вообще стало для нас каким-то бустом, что ли, назовем это так. И вот с этого все вообще пошло довольно интересным образом, начало складываться.
То есть именно та победа над ЕГЭ вас зарядила и веру, да, немного дала?
Да, мы поверили в себя, как-то чуть больше поверили в своих каких-то героев, как-то начали меньше сомневаться, я бы даже сказал, наверное. Да и в целом это как-то просто изменило ход игр, которые у нас потом были.
Team Spirit is now focused forward on playing the International, and though it will be the first for most of the team, Miposhka's experience at TI10 with Team Empire means he knows just how different that stage feels.
Вот что вот с этого International ты для себя запомнил?
Да, блин, самые крутые воспоминания, это, наверное, просто вот после победы над Evil Genius, когда там выходишь с кабинки, там все орут, кричат, это еще те самые ланы со зрителями, вот, и ты это начинаешь впитывать вот всю эту мощь зала, энергию, и как-то вот, ну, блин, просто себя, не знаю, превосходно чувствуешь, просто какой-то, как король какой-то выходишь, и это просто, не знаю, вот это самое замечательное чувство, наверное, когда ты выигрываешь и выходишь на сцену и чувствуешь поддержку зала, вот, это, наверное, самое офигенное чувство.
Yeah, that run that Miposhka had with Team Empire at that TI was definitely a little magical. They were playing with Resolution, who was standing in for one of the players that wasn't able to make it, and they made it pretty deep as well. And I asked Resolution, because that was Miposhka's first TI, and I asked Resolution, like, what was it like playing with this guy? Like, how was he in the booths? And he described Miposhka as the perfect support player. Like, both obviously in game, but also very much so outside the game. He's your friend. He's reliable. You know he's got your back, T. That's so important.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of instrumental in any modern day Dota team now, where you kind of need to, you don't, like, playing Dota it is a job, but like you can't treat it like a job, right? You need to be able to disconnect from the game and talk about your problems, or even just, you know, have a laugh with them, because when things do go wrong at an event, it's like, it's so critical that you have that kind of, that pact there ready to lean on.
You got to be chill. And Miposhka, I mean, we've talked with him all year long during the DPC. Like, he's kind of just been the same guy, whether they were succeeding, winning, losing, what have you. He's just always solid. And it's fun because he was, I think, underrated by the scene for a while. After that TI7 run, you know, you'd see him like kind of popping up on teams here or there, but he wasn't put in the same category of captains with people like Solo or FNG. He was always like that tier 2 guy. And I really just don't think that that's truly the case.
It really is. And let's focus also a little bit more on Fnatic, because we're talking about a game 2 in a best of 3 elimination, and it is Fnatic that just lost game 1. So they have to step it up. They have to adjust. Purge, quick words. What do they need to change in this game 2?
They have to stabilize the lane for Raven. It's really important.
Yeah.
All right. Can they do it? Can they force out that third game of this best of 3? We're gonna find out.
Fanatic versus Team Spirit. Game 2. Fanatic versus Team Spirit. Game. Team Spirit. Game.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Draft Panel. I am here with two very tall people, AUI and Lizard. One of the things that the panel said, oh my gosh, please don't drink anymore. So one of the things that the panel said is that Fnatic will need to stabilize Raven's farm throughout this game. Do you think that that's a good strategy? Do you think that that's a
Yeah, I completely agree with that idea. I think on top of stabilizing Raven's farm, making sure he has a good game, Collapse is just out of hand that game. That Arm at Mars, one-shot and creep waves, basically top net worth in the game. It was too much. It's too much pressure on the map. It's too much damage and scale, just everything.
Do you think it's very difficult to focus on what you need to change when you got your full comfort zone, like you did in first game? Because they did, right? They were playing all the heroes that they would usually pick. Nature's Prophet was doing so much work. Looking at the beginning of the game, I understand why most teams tend to ban it. Like controlling both the bounty runes, constantly blocking the ancient camp. Like he's farming at one specific spot in the dire jungle and just sending his little pesky trees just to block camps constantly. Also, constantly having them for vision, it's so important. But it did go through once again. However, Elder Titan was banned out in the first stage of the last game. This time around, Fnatic, they realized it's not, so they pick him up.
One of the things that you mentioned last time AUI was that Elder Titan is super, super strong hero. Can you explain why he's a first phase pick?
So I think Elder Titan, he's sort of like the complete package, as a lot of first pick heroes are. He's very stable in lane, oftentimes really strong in lane, depends a little bit. And he gives vision, he gives team fight, some disable. Most importantly, he can make it so that you nullify a lot of the enemy carry's net worth through your aura. On top of that, if the game goes late enough, he becomes a beast in team fights as soon as he gets some eggs, even some eggs into Mask Madness. We've seen in this game, I watched Elder Titans like solo the enemy team's mid snipers, 100-0 alone.
Plus you have the cleave talent. Does that feel good with the Aghanim's? But I wanted to say it's also very flexible. That same Elder Titan can be played on offlane, can be your 5, can be your 4. In this sort of a game, I think you're already satisfied with Luna plus Elder Titan on the safe lane. You can rotate him perhaps on that position 4 if necessary, but versus Tidehunter and Weaver, this should be a solid lane for Fnatic.
A little bit of a switcheroo here, right? They're getting the Luna against Tidehunter. I think Raven, for me as a carry player, he seems the most stable on Luna and Terrorblade, at least through the qualifiers. He seemed to play a lot of these types of heroes. As I was mentioning earlier, he has played a lot of, seemingly a bit random carries this tournament. It's not random, but just like...
Some Ricky Maru that was banned in the last game.
You do different things every game. But I think, hypothetically, he functions best, historically, on his other teams when he's always been that sort of hard carry, farms a lot, doesn't make mistakes type of carry player.
And Team Spirit, they tend to ban out their best heroes when they get a hero in that same position. They got the Tide, they ban out the Mars because they understand just how strong the hero is at the moment. Also, keep in mind that Tidehunter plus Weaver have a lot of natural synergy together. That Gush plus the bugs from Weaver, they bring out a lot of damage plus minus armor, making anything possible for that position 1. You can suddenly even pick, I was going to say PA, but I'm not going to say PA. That hero isn't picked once. Any single hero that actually benefits from the minus armor is solid. We've seen some Weaver plus Tidehunter plus SF on the mid lane actually do really well through the tournament. But yeah, this lane should be very strong for them.
Quick question. So the picks and the bans went out for first phase. So Weaver, Tidehunter instantly picked, and then the bans came out super fast. One of the things that another analyst said was that they will generally use up most of that time so that they can make sure that they're not making mistakes. But why did those picks come out so fast? Is it just a no-brainer?
So just to continue on the minus armor thing, there is this OG mentality in which you're just finding one strat and either buffing up one hero to the maximum limit or getting this minus armor to the maximum limit. And that's what they did with the Snapfire ban. They're preventing Team Spirit from going for that route in which you would have not only Weaver, Tidehunter, but then again a little Shredder on top of that, and it would be extremely difficult to play into.
In regards to your earlier question about why the picks came out so quickly, I think it's because Elder Titan was actually part of their prep. We saw in game 1 that they took a little bit of time with their first pick on Team Spirit. Maybe Fnatic's bans put a little bit out of what they planned exactly. Or honestly, sometimes it's like they didn't ban something you thought they would and you like it. So you're like, ooh, 2 main good options. In this case, I think they knew exactly what they wanted for versus Elder Titan, so everything's expected.
Do you think that in the second stage you still go for Nature's Prophet here? Because it's still in the pool. If you're Fnatic, you're feeling extremely comfortable on the hero, but then again, you just came from a loss with the same hero.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit of a Nature's Prophet hater. When Quincy Crew picked it, I did not like it. When Fnatic picked it, I did not like it. But the thing about TI and the lower bracket is I think you value comfort and stability over a lot of other factors. You can have a little bit worse draft if you're going to play that draft better, and that difference will more to make up the difference and be a main reason to propel yourself to victory. So if he's still believing in it, I mean, he's some rank 4 support. You give him his Nature's Prophet.
Especially because of the way Nature's Prophet fits into any lineup. It stretches you out. It's very difficult to play against him. And it makes decision-making even harder. He has that TP, he can join mid-fights. Okay, Shadow Demon, actually, let me stop that. They go for an SD. This is also a very popular support combo for Team Spirit, Shadow Demon and Weaver. They don't necessarily have a lot of proper stuns. Disruption can be called that, you can catch someone, but it's not really a stun. So that's not what you will be getting from your 2 supports, but you will be getting a ton of utility, either from the Weaver Aghanims later on, the Vessel into Aghanims build, and the damage that comes from Shadow Demon. We've seen some insane team spirit performance on heroes such as Bane and Shadow Demon when it comes to saving targets in the nick of time, like saving them just before that finger of death hits or any big ulti.
And Shadow Demon, as always,
Versus
a traditional counter versus Luna. It's a little bit less because I think the Lunas are itemizing slightly different. You're not going as many stats like before as like Manta, Butterfly, Skadi, and the illusions will just pump out so much damage. Now, you do get a crit, which the illusions benefit from the critical portion, but they don't get the plus damage. You know, you're getting Dragonlance, crit, BKB, Shard. They don't get anything from Shard. So it's still good versus Luna. You get the night vision off the illusions, you get the aura, but I actually don't know how countery it is to Luna. Like, I'd still be fine playing Luna.
For the people at home, can you explain through Shadow Demon's eyes how they would counter Luna?
So basically, you approach every single team fight with the disruption on the Luna first. That's what you're doing. You create illusions of the Luna herself, and those illusions, because of the glaives and everything, just dish out way too much damage for the enemy team to sustain in the team fight. So you either have to bail, especially after Shadow Demon also uses the ulti on Luna, which becomes even harder for the Luna to bail, right? Like, you can't escape anymore. It pierces BKB, you're being attacked by your illusions, and also you cannot run away from them.
So Shadow Demon would basically use his entire kit specifically to make Luna's life difficult.
It's a lot about how Luna is as a hero, right? She farms a lot, she usually has a lot of stats because she's high level, and Shadow Demon's just using her own strength against her. Grimstroke's a hero that I saw almost none of this tournament, even though I thought it was fairly well picked in pubs.
But there's also Sven that came out too, and Sven's a little bit more popular, right?
Yeah, no, Sven, I think coming into this tournament, a lot of people had him as like, I don't know, he was like sort of like a sleeper pick for the tournament, even though he's been so dominant for so long. Because he got nerfed a bit, and people are like,
And
Sven,
the stack
but
nerfs, right?
honest, yeah, and the stack nerfs and everything, but I still think this hero's really strong. The other thing about Shadow Demon that I really like is when I Demonic Purge on, I want a physical burst damage hero in order to deal with that, because they'll BKB, but they'll still be slowed. And if you can get anyone like some TA, Sven, Ursa, these heroes combo really well. It's -1 core on the enemy team, 1 Purge, and then 1 carry hitting them. And it makes it very simple to play the team fights. You back that up with a Ravage, and you know, Fnatic, it's not like their line is weak right now, but their win condition in the team fight is very complicated, I feel like, right now, compared to Team Spirit.
Also, when you look at Team Spirit and before you pick Sven, you're thinking, okay, what are we missing? We're missing a reliable stun. We can't be using Ravage for every single pick off, every single team fight, and Sven comes in handy. It's not perfect that your position 1 is the one that's bringing it. However, when you don't have any other positions, when they're all filled up, yeah, it's fine.
So on the other hand, for Fnatic, you mentioned it's complicated. We can kind of run through the steps of how Team Spirit is going to fight. Can you run me through like a quick team fight from Team Fnatic side? Like, who's going to initiate? What's going to happen?
Anytime you have a Shadow Demon in the game, it's all about finding that Shadow Demon. You have Outer Titan for vision, and you have Void Spirit to jump the backline. They can't take the straight-on engagement the way that a team with Ravage and Demonic Purge can. Oh, this is perfect.
I just love it so much.
Yeah, that was a perfect pick. It allows you to see the backline, sort of take these kinds of fights. We saw, especially like that EG versus Elephant series, you know, Ice was on that Night Stalker. I think Death will look to do something similar here, where he's just scouting out everything, silencing a key target, and allowing them to take like, it's a team fight, but it's not like you're running into your opponent right away. You like, you know, poke at them, you hit the right targets, and then you commit when you know you're right because you have all the information.
And keep in mind that Aoi just mentioned that you always want to be jumping the Shadow Demon. I completely agree up to the point at which Weaver gets the Aghanims. Once he gets that Aghs, you have multiple issues. You can't really jump the Shadow Demon because the Weaver will save him, and if you jump the Weaver, Shadow Demon will save him instead. And now, when you have the Night Stalker and the Void Spirit, it becomes a little bit easier. Also keep in mind that all the spirits have been banned out, besides the Void Spirit. I believe Storm Spirit, also the Ember Spirit. I'm not including Earth Spirit here, as we're not really seeing him on that mid lane at all.
Right. Circling back to Weaver, can you explain the Aghanims?
So Weaver's Aghanims allows him to cast his ultimate time lapse, which moves allied hero back in time 5 seconds, resets their mana and HP bar to what they were at that point in time. It used to be super strong. They made it so it's a little bit shorter range. Weavers used to be played in a lot of positions, sort of just rushing this item. You know, I just realized, isn't Fnatic's draft just EG's draft from yesterday? Except instead of Grimstroke, they had Disruptor, right? It's all 5 heroes.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, interesting, I don't know. Maybe they saw they thought it fit their style well.
It's very interesting because Fnatic, I always felt that this is a team with their own brand and they're playing completely with their own drafts. And we get a Kunkka. All right, this is some Eastern Europe special right here. We don't see a lot of Kunkka, especially in this tournament as well. But in a game such as this one, it does provide you with a little bit of sustain. It does provide you with a little bit of cash. The laning stage itself should not be that difficult. And you have multiple things that you can play off. If Ravage is on cooldown, then you can play with the boat, you can play with Kunkka, setting things up. And truth be told, Sven was not enough with that one stun that I was hyping up. Now you have something else to play off of.
So on paper, it seems that Team Spirit's draft is a little more straightforward. But what draft is objectively better?
I mean, drafts are weird like that. Like, people can try to claim an objectively better draft, but it often comes down to how certain parts of the lane go, or like the team plan that a team has with the draft. In my head, like, I like Fnatic's draft a lot, but I feel like this doesn't feel that Fnatic to me. Like, honestly, I can't get it's just EG's draft in my head. So, like, I think Team Spirit, they're playing more freely, and that makes their draft better for them. Because honestly, like, the same draft isn't equal based on the team you are.
I have to completely agree. I think Team Spirit are more comfortable, and they're playing the heroes that they have been practicing and playing a lot. At the same time, I like the aggression from Fnatic. I like the fact that they can be making a lot of plays in the mid game, that the Night Stalker plus Inkswell will be wreaking havoc on those backlines. Same goes with the Void Spirit plus Grimstroke.
I mean, I feel like if this isn't some tilt copy draft, I think Fnatic, they have a decent chance of winning this game. Like, pretty high, honestly. But if this is like Elder to South, something they haven't practiced, I think the Kunkka pick was actually quite good. It solidifies their draft together. It
just brings stability.
Yeah, it really does.
So this isn't, you would absolutely not say this is a comfort pick for Fnatic, which is what we were kind of expecting to see when they're on their back foot.
Yeah, it's still a little bit of comfort, but what can you expect from a Fnatic? They have so many shuffles, so many players that have changed positions. They can play pretty much anything. The only question is that they choose the right composition of heroes.
Well, we will find out if they have chosen the correct heroes after this quick interview with Jake and Silent.
Hello, here with Silent. You were telling me before the camera started you guys were feeling confident, one series up. Still feeling confident after that draft?
After draft, I'm not sure. I think Fnatic did pretty well on draft. I really like it, so I think we have very good chances to tie this series. So I think we have some strategy on this.
Well, don't reveal too much, my friend. In fact, the game is already starting, so we're going to go straight into it.
But we might lose, so who knows?
Well, we're about to find out, my brother. Let's see. Let's go into the game real quick.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you very much, Jake and Silent. It sounded like he was advocating
He's like,
for
wait,
Fnatic.
no, stop. We might lose. I take no responsibility.
That was awesome. But game number 2 here as we're getting ready to go into this one. Again, a must-win series. Fnatic want to keep their hopes alive here at the International 10, and they have picked a very interesting draft. They said EG-esque.
Familiar, even.
You know the thing about that? EG won that game, I believe.
Oh, there you go. And Luna, she just keeps on popping up in this lower bracket so far, doing pretty darn well across her games. So we'll see if, like game 1, she can carry the way to victory for the team. Currently, Team Spirit holding a very offensive position here on the Radiant side of the river, hoping someone would wander on over. And now Mira going in for that bounty rune. Great timing, snags it.
Well played.
So that's 2 games in a row now. 3 bounty runes to start things off here for Team Spirit.
Collapse appreciating what his support there is doing for him, so it gives off the little tip there at the end of it. Going to be some interesting things to watch for in this one, absolutely, as we have the Toronto-Tokyo Kunkka coming in the mid lane, facing off against Void Spirit. To me, at least, I have felt like Vision heroes are the thing that tends to be winning more often than not, particularly in these like really tense, must-win situations. And it just makes it easier if you can see everything around you, set up the great fights, and that's what Night Stalker does best.
Yeah, and of course, to pair with the Luna, it just means that you already want to play at nighttime anyway when you have a Night Stalker in your lineup, and Luna's just going to help you even further with that bonus vision. So that will be the game plan here from Fnatic. And I have to say that Kunkka you mentioned, excellent little counter pick there to the Night Stalker, right? Because you think about how you want to play every team fight as Night Stalker and also Void Spirit, like in and out, right? Bobbing and weaving throughout the engagement. You get 1 X on top of you, you're going to need some defensive items to help you out.
Or a little bit of help from his friends as well. And they've got the Echo Stomp to sort of cover a little bit of things that are going on there. But the Grimstroke, a little bit of a weird choice.
Yeah.
Not sure exactly. We haven't seen a ton of it. To me, at least, the thing that stood out in the qualifiers for TI about Grimstroke was the Aghanim Scepter that you can end up purchasing and how strong that can be.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Unfortunately, it's going to be a Sven, so not the best. You love those big Agi heroes,
Right.
of course, but always a good tool to have. But certainly the Phantom's Embrace, I would imagine the main reason they've gone for it here.
Ooh, the block off. They're going to try and wrap around him, and Jab's nowhere to go. Has to go for that TP out, and well, now they realize, all right, you got us.
No panic. Jabs has got it.
Gets out of that one. Oh, and Wepa's line as well. Not bad. Them in the game.
But yeah, the Phantom's Embrace, a very frustrating tool versus the Tidehunter. I would say as well as like the Weaver, something else too, right? Where you can try and kind of get them stuck, right? Something that he can't handle with the Kraken Shell. So overlooked, since we've been mostly going towards the Disruptor when it comes to a support hero that really frustrates the Tide. But I think it would be really interesting to try the Inkswell as well with the Night Stalker. Could even potentially see some usefulness with that Shard later on.
Oh yeah.
Because you get the Dispel at the end, and I feel like with the way Night Stalker plays, that could be kind of sick.
Yeah, the hard dispel that comes at the end of it. So a lot of items to watch for out of the Grimstroke if he can get to them as the time goes on. But most likely we're going to be seeing the first rotations will be out of that mid lane. Both of these heroes, the Void Spirit and the Kunga, capable of getting very aggro in the early stages. And you can see so far, 7 denies actually on the Void. Not bad at all. As Raven chased down in some trouble. And Mira going to draw first blood. Just caught him sleeping.
Tidehunter hunting carries throughout the entire international so far with the help of his friends.
And going in for round 2, DJ gonna fall. Team Spirit, they lose Mira, but they will take that one.
Snapfire and Weaver, the minus armor bonuses to help out a Tidehunter and grab these kills, been used throughout this entire tournament, and it just looks so good to get the double kill like that.
Toronto Tokyo gonna do this thing we've seen often. An X marks the spot into a TP back home, and that refills the bottle, allows Toronto Tokyo to come back to lane fully resourced up. And Chuan obviously not having that same possibility playing as the Void Spirit.
Yeah, we'll see if we get a little bit more help towards that mid lane, perhaps. See if they want to try and go for a play or even a turnaround. Obviously, something that Team Spirit did a very good job of last game.
Oh, and Maposhka. This is the sneaky one. Take a look at this. Can he get all 3 of them? Trying to stack up the camps for the Sven, and... oh, a little bit late. Only managed to get 1.
That's rough.
Gotta go back to lobby practice.
Yeah, gotta hit the demo lobby between the series and on the main stage, apparently.
It's a tough one. It's incredibly hard to get that as a Shadow Demon when you're doing all of them simultaneously. But nonetheless...
You had to let them know, you know? You had to... Got all excited. We're gonna show everyone, wow, that's a sick triple stack.
I know. I thought it was gonna happen. At
Next time, no cam, he'll get that. I'm sure.
Exactly. It's tough on the main stage.
Oh, nice. I like that sentry on the right-hand side there, too. Inside the tree line, pretty, tricky for Team Spirit to catch it, and then they can try and actually punish Mira in this laning stage.
As the rundown, Toro gonna get stunned up, chased down, but the disruption and the back away. Afterwards passes the salve over, so even though there's some good aggression there, not going to be able to do substantial damage to that Sven.
What's all?
Still 3 mangoes as well from Aposhka with all those tangos, so they're going to try and keep Yadoro going as long as they can up here. Meanwhile, Jabs has just been once again going in, blocking off the camps here. He's been stopping the further pulls. Then Aposhka has been trying to stack this up, and now also stopping the small camp from being available. We'll go for some vertical plays here to ensure that there won't be a pull on the other side, but you got to look after your carry here.
I mean, again, this is like not, the damage that's going to go for the kill, but it's so much economic damage because he just has to play that far back in the lane, and now you're in a situation where you can just deny out a bunch of creeps from him.
He's level 5. He's just going to the jungle. And of course, those big stacks not really all here quite yet, and not what you want to see. So we got to put, mid lane, Toronto Tokyo gets the full damage there. Unexpected, caught him after the dissimulate.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, that's one of those where you normally are comfortable in this Void Spirit matchup because you've always got that dissimulate to get out of harm's way, but Toronto Tokyo with the outplay, able to punish on the mid.
Not a good start here for Fanatic to lose that. But of course the other lane's going well, so, just ins and outs across your lanes here. Meanwhile, this bottom lane here is still pretty chill. Raven just farming up will likely make his own rotation to the jungle relatively soon, but so far so good. 35 last hits, and although you are below the Sven of course has been hitting a lot of neutrals, and Sven's also running back to his base, so you'll likely see the Luna start to eclipse him pretty soon in net worth.
Yeah, I mean, these are two of the fastest farming heroes in the game if you're left to just sort of go about your own devices. So we'll see if giving that free space eventually will help him out there on that Luna. But right now, pops ulti, Miposhka, he's getting ran at.
Yeah, and they didn't even use the Ink Swell yet, so yeah, now puts it down that this is just guaranteed death. And the catapult wave is here, so Yadro forced to come back to lane now.
Yeah, because you can't just give up that tier 1 tower this early on. So Death making that move and forcing the rotation back in after Toro had already retreated to the fountain. But this early pressure being put on by the Night Stalker. He got out of that early laning stage well, and now kind of just free to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, they have to threaten some TPs here from Toronto Tokyo as well, I think, but not coming in quite yet. And they would love to try and get a kill onto Death if he dives a little bit too deep here, but it's going to be tough having the phase boost this early. Very tanky, 1000 HP with plenty of armor. And of course, if he does make a rotation and fail on Toronto Tokyo, that's going to slow down his farm by quite a bit. But for now, his farm is the top of the board there.
Yeah, playing on that Kunkka. Obviously, now that he's up to level 8, can get more points in that
top lane.
Xbox spot.
Jabs.
Looks for him. Death backs away. Ooh. Gets out of that one as well. That is a 4-stack. Hit that with one more, and it might have been a kill. But Jabs wrapped around upon, and as they have the rundown, they'll find themselves the kill. So getting back on the board. Spirit looking good again.
Uses the Quelling Blade to grab the courier. Oh, that was nice. He cut through the tree, seeing the angle, and actually got the courier snipe. So find something in response to support time. But great turnaround here in that top lane, using the salve to pump Yadro back up, and then chase down on the sidelines. Miposhka, again, having an excellent match here. Now Toronto Tokyo wants to make a rotation to the bottom.
Yeah, and this is going to be an easy one as they run in. This does reveal the ward, obviously, but into the quick kill, and Spirit are just everywhere. I mean, this is looking somewhat similar to last game where they just got a lead and never look back. And Miposhka to try and TP out. Does he manage to escape? He does! That nerf on the Ink Swell.
Yeah.
Oof.
Bit more time to deal with that these days. But that still puts him all the way back in the fountain, and Chuan's made his way up here too, gonna grab that next wave, so they're gonna be flying into this tower, putting on the hurt, and only 15 seconds away from the next ultimate here on the Night Stalker.
Well, this has definitely been a... I mean, I guess at the very least you can see Fnatic are getting more kills. They're making more things happen. Juan going right now on Toro. Can they make anything else happen here?
Oh, they got some plans this game on Fnatic, right?
Yeah.
Going into the top jungle.
Yeah.
Trying to stalk Yadro, and then they've got a ward down on that triangle on the bottom side of the map with all those stacks sitting there for Sven. You got to imagine they want to have a big fight there with the next Dark Ascension. Now that they've taken that top tower in the safe lane, they can start hurting them on the side of Team Spirit towards that part of the map and force a good fight.
Yeah, this definitely feels like it's just, a concentrated effort to be that big contention point, to take it away, that farm from Team Spirit. Raven hanging out down here bottom as both Tier 1 towers have fallen. The danger is Team Spirit, how quickly can they take those stacks? You pop God Strength, you have a Kunkka that heads in, it might be gone before Fnatic can get there.
Yeah, and then of course sometimes you'll see teams maybe just try a little bit too hard to contest, and then you end up losing the fight, but... Oh, they certainly won't be here in time for this one. They just got the D ward too. Now you got the question marks on what's happening, and where are we sitting? 4,300-ish, even after the hard camp, and then still these Ancients to go. Looking very nice for Yadro, and they're just gonna run top. See if they can catch someone D-warding. They catch DJ in the act.
Oh no, and this is DD and Arcane. This is going to be an easy kill into another one soon because that boat on a lower cooldown. Man, Team Spirit are just looking so clean. The fact that you are able to de-ward the triangle, take those Ancients, and get a kill, like they're doing everything.
Yeah, they lost that top tower, but quickly, they've already taken it through the bottom one as well, so feeling very good with their game plan, I'm sure. And now questions to Fnatic.
Yeah.
Again, very similar state as last game. Starting out with fewer kills, getting an early net worth lead handed over to their opponent. What is the response here? What are Fnatic going to rally around in this game?
I mean, it's got to be something, but they're right underneath that ward as that smoke comes out.
It's a smoke, and it's also a level 6 Grim. Hasn't taken any points yet, though, for the 5 and the 6 on jabs.
I was waiting for I saw that line coming out, but it didn't happen that time. But you can see they're heading through these wards again, and Collab's actually wrapped on here.
All right, they need the Phantom's Embrace here.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to go down no matter what, as they bring absolutely everybody for the big kill, and that's not insignificant. You know, they find themselves the collapse kill, and will end up moving forward from there.
Yeah, they're pretty confident there's no rotations coming through. Kind of scary when it's a tide, but they had some wards in the area, so salts out there for Fnatic. And yeah, it's a lot of heroes to kill one, but that might just be the play that you need to sort of get up the morale, be like, all right, we got this, like, go forward.
Well, and at the same time, too, you saw Yador was also farming the Ancients another round of it while Collapse is dying. So, you know, you'd love that to be the support that ends up falling, but didn't end up happening, and the X marks the spot.
He's Xing to get runes and pig pulling, so he's got lots of strats here.
The next level play. This is going to farm up both of these camps. Tidebringer, so effective at cleaving through there. Toronto, man.
They got the 3 cores that can all farm Ancients and stacks, you know?
It's not bad.
Tide, Sven, and
Dude,
Kunkka.
look at this guy farm this jungle. Just pull it one way, cleave the other, pull it the other, cleave
Are you
the
taking
other.
notes here, you know?
I want
some
to.
Kunkka games later.
I mean, I would definitely not be doing that good. That's for sure. But it's a baller.
Well, next item right here for a hero that you tend to look to gain some momentum in a game. It's Death on this Night Stalker. Has the Echo Saber we've seen oh so often in this tournament. And also, still has the ulti ready here, but it's Team Spirit making the move onto him.
Oh, and this one's gotta hurt as the boat comes in. The stun is there. Do they have the follow-up? Yes, indeedy doody. As the ulti comes out, silence at the same time, though, buying Death a little bit of time. But in the end, he too will fall. And Raven trying to clear through these Ancients. DJ moves into position now. Drop the ulti down. Not really going to do all that much at all. Mira just runs away from them.
Yeah, soulbind onto nothing.
They can't find an opening.
Oh, he wants it. He wants courier kills
too.
too.
Oh my God, he's going for the Mira. What a god. 5,000. They're running circles around Fnatic. Oh no. 5,000 gold lead now. 4 courier kills by Mira.
They really don't have the best heroes to deal with that quite yet either. I mean, obviously things will get a little bit more difficult now that there's some better tools here on this Night Stalker, but soon to be another smoke. Smoke and go. All right, well, as we say it, it occurs.
This
Who's
one
coming
not
with
under
them?
ward.
No, that's a better start for sure. Oh, look at the way they're just like backing up there, though. This is the one hero we don't want. Like, please, anyone else. But he's coming in so close.
And Collapse just going to walk into him right now. The Phantom's Embrace for the moment. Inkswell not going to connect onto anybody, and Smoke broken, nothing gained. Chuan pulls it back in afterwards. The silence is there. Pretty good at stopping the Ravage, but the walk away. It came in at the end of the Ravage to interrupt. Oh, the Torrent afterwards falls onto Chuan. He will die. Collapse will live. Devastation in the river. That's where Tidehunter comes from. As Maposhka also gonna live through that one. Are you kidding me? Pick pull forward for the body blocks. Death can't even get
here
away.
we go. They may be rivals in the lore, but they're best friends here. Tide and Kunkka.
Oh my God.
One hands off the fight to the other. The alley to the oop. Ravage into all the combos coming out here, and they just made that look so simple.
I mean, Team Spirit, they look crisp, they look clean.
Meanwhile,
exactly.
the Ancients.
Right, he's just apping away. Gonna get into that Blink Dagger soon and not look back.
Oh, that was such a painful fight for Fnatic. They knew they had to do it, and you could tell they tried to avoid Collapse at the start. They sort of knew he was coming in. They just went around him, and he walks to the trees. He just kept walking at them over and over, and with that hood, you know, you get to the point where you're like, oh, he's getting so low. Oh, he's almost dead this time. And then right at the end, pops that Ravage. Now into a full-on pipe for the team.
Yeah, this is a very, very tanky watermelon, and Zoro runs to the side. Chuan was passing right by. They aren't going to connect onto that Sven, who's just been left completely alone in Toronto. Tokyo finds the Night Stalker yet again, back towards the mid. They're going to drop the ulti. There's also the Torrent. Night Stalker just does not have a game. to be
Oh,
another quick
DJ,
one.
careful now. Moving under that ward.
Yeah, he's got to back out of there. I mean, that's the range on Kunkka is just so hard to get away from. And they will throw out the stomp, but it only stops it for a moment. As you can see, a hell of a performance right now from Toronto Tokyo, and they get him. There's the X. They got the Torrent afterwards. A DD chase down. Do they have enough for the kill?
Oh, he wants it. How greedy will he get?
Toronto Tokyo's feeling himself, but not that much. Man,
good choice.
How about Eastern Europe region stepping up today? Two teams going far, one in the upper bracket, the other, if they can keep this up, continuing to look strong. Having a great tournament.
These mid laners too, you know? GBK into Toronto Tokyo. Looking quite incredible here, sort of stealing the show.
Well, 11,000 gold lead. 17 minutes, and Chuan, I mean, they need to find a little bit of space. They need to get something going for themselves, and the Dissimilate to back away. They're buying some time. Does he get caught by the X? Toronto Tokyo?
There's no turn here. Like, no one's trying to make a counter play. He's just running away with the bug on top. And
yeah.
At least he got away.
True.
Good stuff for sure. They're not forcing a bad fight versus the Aegis, but still undoubtedly bad situations here for Fnatic. They've been searching for 2 games now to find some sort of an answer here versus Team Spirit, but they seem to be trapped in the exact same state of Team Spirit, just knowing everything they want to do and being there first.
Well, this has been a tough one for Fnatic here, and see that you gotta find silver linings where you can, but it is tough. The enemy Sven can take your Aegis. There's not UI can do, but can they get the kill? Can they get the punish? They want to blow through this Aegis one time, and they do get it there. Both gonna be off the mark. Maybe something building here for Fnatic as they dodge away from the aggression.
They've used a lot of spells here.
Spirit.
They're pressured to chase.
Oh, maybe on Mira. Again, this vision, this is why you pick the Night Stalker, to try and find these pickoffs, but Weaver just able to stay outside of the range of it. They spot him now, but there isn't really a play here.
Still, something there.
Yeah.
For Fnatic, no doubt, right? Like, this is really a sign of life that they're finally getting. Sure, it's not going to add 1 to your kill count, unfortunately, but it was a death and a claim of the Aegis nonetheless here. So they can get back a little further out on the map, feel somewhat safer. And Team Spirit likely going to start thinking about that next Roche, as well as some tier 2s, but you can't be quite as bold without the Aegis just heading into enemy territory.
Well, and there's something to be said here as well for having these big auras that can change the way that a game works. You've got the Natural Order, you've got the Lunar Blessing, big team fight ultis that they've got on the side of Fnatic. Well, okay, doesn't have the Natural Order yet. He's going to get there on DJ, don't worry.
One of these days.
But regardless, if they can hold high ground, that's the place that they need to play the game. The game is hard. The score has remained constant for a little while now, and we'll have to see where Team Spirit want to go. Do you think that they need to try and make moves, or can they just sort of wait for BKBs?
I think those BKBs are
they're
done.
There. Yeah, super done.
So wait they have, and forward they can most certainly go. I like the idea of pressuring the tier 2. I don't want to see them give up anything. I don't want to see any trades. I don't think they have any reason to trade right now. But it looks like Fnatic aren't going to push the envelope up top here, so easy stuff here for Team Spirit as they'll grab themselves a tier 2. Move towards the outpost, and Fnatic just trying to farm for now. Trying to find some sort of a tool for Death to help him in these fights. It could be the Blink Dagger, as he has that queued up first. It'd be a good way to try and catch that Shadow Demon way in the back, or try and ruin Mira's game. That's probably the play he has to go for, but of course there's a real danger of just jumping into a fight as this Night Stalker. Despite being very tanky as a hero, it is a Sven. There's a lot of minus armor. He might still melt and get shredded if he jumps right down in.
Oh, and look at this. Team Spirit were going for a bait play on the other side of the map, which means they left their Sven all the way alone. BKB going to be used into the TP out.
Oh, you know what? I really like that play.
Raven, immediate BKB TP out of there. It's like, I don't want to be here anymore. But Death looks like he's going to be the one left behind, although does have Dark Ascension. Is there any way out of this? Doesn't look like it. They'll find the Night Stalker kill as he waits for the inevitable. Nice little play there.
Takes a few more swings for the mega kill streak there for Toronto Tokyo, but yeah, it kind of felt like it was a little bit of bait though. Just feeling so confident, I think, with a BKB TP that, I mean, the odds of that getting dealt with here pretty low.
Right. Did burn through the BKB charge though.
That's true.
Not insignificant.
Yeah. Things won't be as active in another 35 seconds. Perhaps an opportunity for Fnatic when the Night Stalker comes back up. They have to be mighty fast.
Toronto.
And they're waiting for their own BKB as well.
No, 30 seconds away. Raven left alone on an island and is going to get punished.
It's so quick.
Oh no, and now they're looking for more. Finding DJ outside their base and just pulled back in and killed. Oh man, as Fnatic will fall down yet again. Now Miposhka looking for Chu, and he has to back out of here as well. Fnatic struggling to come up with the answers. It's all across the map. They get taken down.
Fnatic trying to find answers after game one, trying to decipher the puzzle of this Team Spirit and get a solution for what they were just witnessed in the previous match. But unfortunately, it's actually Team Spirit who are adapting and just making things worse. And Toronto Tokyo leading the charge there. 15,000 hero damage.
That's an impressive performance. 7-0-4. Team Spirit, I mean, again, you think about the story of this team starting 0-4 out of the group stage and then not dropping a game, it felt like, for the entire rest of it. Now coming in, you know, after dropping down out of the upper bracket and putting on this type of performance against Fnatic, it's incredibly impressive. And this young squad led by Miposhka.
Yeah, we saw their first 2 wins in the group stage, and I was shocked to learn they were 0-4. They just looked so crisp and clean, so when they turn it on, they're most certainly there. After taking one off IG in the upper bracket, they don't want to drop any more down here.
Aghanim Scepter done for the Void Spirit. Hoping to find some signs of life for Fnatic. Still stuck at 3 kills at 22 minutes in. They've got BKB on Luna, like they need to make something happen here.
They got in and out heroes, right? They got Night Stalker, they got Void Spirit. They got to get an in and a really quick out. If they can get some BKBs going, burn those things, maybe then they can find their play with this silence on Chun, right? Get in there with the Aghanim Scepter, see if you can make a good fight out of that. Yeah, it's a 19k lead. That is a tough order. I understand that.
Yes.
But we're digging real deep here on the casting desk.
And DJ is going to get caught and stunned. Has to lead the way. Somebody has to die when you're down this far. You need to play that aggressive style and look for pickoffs. Look for farm where you can.
I can see that he's taking the nether shot, which is good because now I can take his trusty shovel.
Oh, there you go.
And keep digging a little bit here to try and find a solution for Fnatic.
Keep on digging because it's looking like it's a tough way out of this one.
It's real deep.
Yeah.
We'll try and fill that that hole of net worth back in here. Climb back to level ground. Jabs, his plan, it'll be the Aghanims on the Grimstroke, getting pretty close, about a point booster away here. And a pretty incredible tool, honestly, in teamfights if you can get there. Question is, will he ever make it?
Yeah, he's working his way. You can see Kunkka also, after finishing the AC, is going back for the sheep stick. And almost has enough for it, so that would be quite the pickup for him as bottling up that DD, ready to go for another round. Roche about to respawn.
Like, this comes back to, I think, again, just like game one, the forcing of the itemization that's coming out from Team Spirit. And so a lot of Kunkas would just go Ags here, I feel like, right? And just like, I feel like you're going to win the fights anyway. You're up 21k. They can kind of feel that edge that they have. But Scythe, like, that's just punishing because they have to get BKBs on the enemy side on Fnatic. So you grab that Scythe, you may just get the pick, and if you eliminate one more hero, that lead's going to grow even further relative-wise in those team fights.
Smoke out now, and Jabs trying to rally his team with the voice lines.
Pumping him up. Of course, he's the one hiding in the trees, so...
No, you're not wrong. He's off to the other side there. DJ Chun looking for a opening. If somebody steps up the map, or maybe just be able to find a courier kill, see where it goes. It's the Mystic Staff looking for the Void Stone afterwards. And still we sit as Roche is going to fall soon.
Could be the final match of them at TI. DJ making so many plays in their previous matches that they won. That clockwork. Took him off the Ogre, put him on the ET. Can he save one here?
There's no chance at all. And now DJ has to TP out. Do they ravage for it? No, they don't even need to. Disruption is on the mark. And Fnatic gonna lose to it. Now have to stare down the high ground pressure coming from Team Spirit. Walk up, they're gonna get a buyback out of that ET.
I don't know if that scares them off right now.
You're not wrong. But again, Team Spirit sensing the potential moment here to knock Fnatic out of the tournament. They want to walk forward and take these racks.
Now,
Roche has spawned.
That's right. There's no real reason to be here. They have BKB in sight though, so I think he feels pretty safe. And now back towards, gonna Dot some I's, cross some T's, and head to the Roche pit soon enough, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're playing this one safe. Team Spirit.
All right.
They may be young, but they're playing like veterans.
Jabs just sold the circlet. He wants it. One more gold, and there it is, the Aghanim Scepter. So they're going to get one more hero in the fight, so they can outnumber their opponents now. That counts for something.
Dark Portrait, incredibly strong. Illusion damage is amplified. You've also got a long duration on it, and it's BKB'd. But the question is there enough farm on the Heroes of Spirit to actually be able to make it matter? Sven is very large and in charge, but it still could be a tough one. We'll have to wait and see as Fnatic smoke out, feeling like what could be a last hurrah, a last team fight at TI, like unless things go perfect.
Taking the fight out here before the Roche. I mean, their buybacks are, well, they're not there on the Radiant, so a fight in your base doesn't help you at all.
They spot Toronto Tokyo. Sven up front and center also. Jump forward, silence onto 4, not bad. Try and take out that Shadow Demon right at the start. He doesn't have buyback. This is the fight that they were maybe looking for, but there's the stun now. Onto Death, tries to back away, kiting this one out, and is able to get a little bit of separation.
With the Essence Ring?
On the other side, Death ends up going down, but they've got the illusion sent out, trying to do damage, but it's just not enough. It's the Toronto Tokyo illusion, and they just don't have it. Oh my god, the turnover. Toro walks forward, kills off DJ. 25,000 gold lead now as they're going to head into Roche. It was looking good for a moment, but only a moment. So they took down that Shadow Demon.
Yeah, now to the easy play of the pit here. A Shard lying in wait. The Aegis there too. And Team Spirit looking to end the hopes of their opponents in the lower bracket at TI and send them to an early exit.
It is so tough playing in these games and trying to face off against these teams. Obviously an entire year and longer building up to it.
And where are we going with this Shard? Looks like Collapse just doesn't want it. Picked it up and said, no, please, you, my carry.
Almost doubling up on the damage right now. Toronto Tokyo has had such a fabulous tournament and also just has a fabulous name. You gotta love it. As they walk in, looking for jabs. And they got him caught right by the secret shop. Not even gonna need to use God Strength or anything like it.
I like how he got the instant value out of the Shard. Got the Dispel, just jumps right onto the Grim.
Perfect play. Consistently around the map now as Maposhka scouting out and does find Raven over there. Jumps in, vanishes. Maposhka turns forward. Raven, where are you left to go? As Toro, well, actually gets the kill and now maybe gonna get out. One more hit is enough. They take down Raven. Maposhka giving up his life for the carry kill.
All right, but what's kind of sick there is that kill actually gave him buyback. So, you know, that's someplace. Raven's got something, at the very least. And Truan just trying to delay this game even further, playing in the tree line up top for quite a while now. Already got forced out once by Toronto Tokyo, but has returned again. And Toronto Tokyo, of course, well aware of this. Hunting to see. Shun will jump out here. I think he's going to have to wait for the next wave, though.
Yeah, it's so dangerous when he's got this Hex. But you can see, like, how confident they are just running down each of these lanes. They've got a creep wave, and they're ready to go and put the finishing touches on what's been a pretty much immaculate game from Team Spirit. This team looks terrifying in the lower bracket.
Yeah, whenever you're getting to the old 1,000 gold per minute lead, that's a problem.
Yeah. No, it's feeling like an insurmountable lead at this point, but obviously if there's any chance at all, if there's any hope of coming back, Fnatic gonna have to take it and do their absolute best in this one to stay in this game. But right now, I mean, you're up now, almost 10k gold ahead of the Luna, getting close to it on the Sven. As we've said time and again, game is hard. The Bloodthorn is done, as they will hold off on the outside of the base.
Just as a new item every time I click on him.
Right?
Yeah, it's a pretty nice game to be a Sven. He's going to be doubling up on that Luna pretty soon.
I think it's just, again, one of those moments where you recognize the strength of this young team and getting new blood into the scene. You love to see it. And now coming out and performing on the biggest stage against some veterans.
Yeah, Fnatic, they're going to try once more here for a bit of a sneaky play. They're showing jabs on the high ground, sort of throwing out a couple plays. He's trying to push back waves. They want to find a jump. There's a smoke on the Tide. They miss with the scan. Now they're moving to the low ground near Fnatic. Death's in the front.
They break it. They know. Walk in, Dark Ascension immediately has to back out. The fight's gotten weird. Fnatic have to be super careful here, but they can't afford to give up without anything from this Dark Ascension. And Fnatic, they see the heroes, and they can't do anything.
What Mapostro's doing, right?
So
Plays
sick.
so well these games, but just throwing out that Shadow Poison makes it so difficult for him to commit without popping his BKB right now.
And look at this, Team Spirit again, they recognize that side of the map is where Fnatic is, so we're gonna head up top, take down this tier 3 tower, and you're gonna have to come and deal with us. Toronto Tokyo, the one that's leading the way, sieging the map. And they take the tier 3 tower and gonna retreat out, taking this slowly, carefully.
Yeah. And Raven, of course, that BKB is like it's the only one they got. They got to watch the timing on it. If he pops at the wrong time.
Oh, and the jump in. Toro trying to run down Raven, but he's slowed. Maybe an opportunity there. Raven able to get the BKB in the walkaway. But this opens up Team Spirit to try and pressure the racks. They get the Dark Portrait. Going to be able to do some damage potentially in that next fight, but jump in, Ravage comes out from Collapse onto absolutely everybody. There are no BKBs to salvage as Chuan going to get control for the moment. Yule Scepter lift up, now looking for a bit more. Raven turns, going to get the Eclipse out, that's a good amount. But is it going to be enough with Collapse the only one dead and no longer having the ET? Do they have what it takes? They buy back on the Void Spirit. The gold lead continues to accelerate for Team Spirit.
It's a Tide player who knows the BKBs are down. He just wants the big number. He's trying to pump up his gem numbers right now.
There you go.
The massive ravages there. The team takes the buildings. Perhaps could have gone for a more hero-focused thing there, but you know, kill throne, win games, so this is just another step towards that with the racks going down and Jabs trying to fight versus them with his own voice lines.
Doing whatever he possibly can at this point.
They feel a little hollow to me, Gabe. I'm not going to lie.
It's tough. It's just so difficult at this stage in the game when you're down this much net worth. And, you know, the heroes that they've got
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Raven's got the crafty stuff coming out here now, right? We got the Shadow Blade. This gives you plates with your Silver Edge to finish out that Chrysalis.
Invisibility, invincibility, but also that break and extra damage.
Also that ward spawning all of that as well there from Team
That
Spirit.
hurts.
Yeah,
that one
that's,
hurts.
That's pretty good. Saw the courier delivering that, so they'll be well aware. I also know that Maposhka was eyeing up a gem earlier. That's probably already out on someone. It is indeed. It's on Mira.
So again, they have some of the items that they need on Fnatic, but it still feels like each hero could get 2 more, and it still might not be enough.
Yeah, Mira even just hands the gem over to Toronto Tokyo. He's like, you know what? You're probably not going to die.
Yeah.
I would think, with 3,000 HP versus these heroes.
With the BKB, it's not a bad choice. But you can see Jabs, again, hoping to motivate his team.
Got to focus on that end part there. The slay together, slay together, slay together.
That's
or
the
the win. The win one at the start would also be good. But this is a stepping stone program here. And right now you're on slay first.
That's right.
The win is very far away right now.
And if they can make it happen, that's the end goal there. But holding on to their high ground is the main thing. Smoke out. Okay. Toronto Tokyo. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Toronto Tokyo is too good. BKB immediately afterwards does not care even a little bit. Not even 1 iota. As he's going to throw out the boat afterwards. Walks into the midst of everybody. Raven pops that BKB, trying to get a pump fight. Holds on to the Ravage. They turn onto one. Shadow Demon dead. Two on the single one that goes down. The Ravage to turn. They take down Raven. No buyback. No opportunity. And Team Spirit still looking dominant in this best of 3 elimination match. They want to move on. And Death, the only one left alive through all of that.
I call that a pretty emphatic ultra kill there, but Fnatic, they've decided to go right to the end.
So they're going to head down that bottom lane next. Raven dead. I mean, he's what, 1,200 gold away from buyback at this point. The game is completely fallen off the rails at 40k gold lead. They're going to right-click down this tower, and without either of their mid or safe lane heroes, they're still going to give them the respect that this team deserves. And, well, they will walk forward again and try and hit it now. Oh, dodges away from the stomp. They're going to send in the illusion. Wants to beat up on some supports. It's doing some good damage there to Collapse. Going to cut the wave afterwards. The Dark Portrait doing what it can. But in the end, you got to deal with the heroes. And they are knocking on your tier 4 towers. Mega creeps have been gained. Team Spirit Now with the X marks the spot and the turn, the beat down, buildings falling. Not a whole heck of a lot left in the tank. They have maybe one last hurrah from Fnatic when they have the Void Spirit up again.
Who's got the smoke here? Mira's calling for it. I see him pinging. Yep, I knew it.
Oh, and we have a little bit of a pause now as Jabs has a DC issue.
Oops.
There's more than a few issues.
That is true, but yeah, Mira was actually just out there and pinging, and they're going for the smoke. All right.
Oh man, the crowd getting into it right here. Is there 43 gold up? Man, as they will hopefully be getting back in just a moment with Chuan. So the Void Spirit is having some issues in this game. Not sure if you can spot from here what's going on. Nonetheless,
I do not have eagle eyes. I'm sorry. That would be very impressive if I could spot the issue, but we're a little too far away from the booths.
36 minutes in, 43,000 gold lead. I mean, what was, on paper felt like maybe an even series has just been an absolute spanking through 2 games by Team Spirit. And now you're staring down again a team that I personally feel like, I'm not sure what the limit is for them. I'm not sure how far they can go. Feels like upper bracket was the place for them.
Yeah, they seem to be growing stronger and stronger, and of course, to bring them down a peg, their one win up there, of course, was off some mistakes from an opponent. They have definitely struggled here at this event to beat teams of what would be considered a higher pedigree, essentially beating the teams that you'd expect in their group and losing to the ones that you would also expect them to lose to. So they need the power up. This is definitely helping, because despite them perhaps being ranked a little bit better than Fnatic, I still don't think they would have beaten them this badly. So they're still obviously improving as a team.
Yeah, and I think that we often talk about sort of the power up that happens through the group stage, and teams being able to get a lot of experience in that, but also the experience on the main stage. I think that you don't know just how hard this game can sometimes be when you've got hundreds of thousands of people watching you at home. Thank you, Neil, for joining us on the cast here.
What else is actually very interesting about this TI, and particularly for this team, is that, of course, with the way the DPC leagues worked and everything, those games were pretty infrequent, right? You're playing like once a week. And then our LANs, some teams, of course, didn't even play group stages at their LANs too. And so you have this issue where TI is this crazy just juggernaut of game after game after game after game. So if they can sort of harness that power and improve themselves through that, that's just what they need to keep this sort of strength going through this lower bracket.
The crowd happy about this again as they're getting back into this. Now, if you remember, just yesterday, Quincy Crew was able to come back after a pause. We'll see if Fnatic can do the same
Do you want my trusty shovel?
As they turn now on to Chulin, gonna find a quick kill. DJ turned upon, he dies as well. Team Spirit, no more messing around from them as they focus down the throne. One by one, Death will die, and more to follow as Team Spirit is going to close this one out and end the dreams of Fnatic. They get the good luck going next from Fnatic at the end of that. Congratulations, Team Spirit moving on to TI10.
Some excellent sportsmanship back and forth there. GG, good luck next, and a thanks there from Collapse as they will be sent forward here in the lower bracket of the International.
What a story.